walking down the street, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If you could learn to work and play and get along with each other. You got to listen to your heart, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open up your ears, get together and make things better by working together. It's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Oh, believe in yourself, for that's the place to start. And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. To learn to work and play and get along with each other. What a wonderful kind of day. What a wonderful kind of day.
Hey! Hey! TW! Hey! Whoa!
Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If you could learn to work and play and get along with each other. You got to listen to your heart, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open up your ears, get together and make things better by working together. It's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Oh, believe in yourself, for that's the place to start. And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. To learn to work and play and get along with each other. What a wonderful kind of day. What a wonderful kind of day.
Hey! Hey! TW! Hey! Whoa!
Hello. Hi, Mary. Welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. I'm doing alright. Sorry to hear about your power. I'm glad it's back. Cats, what are you doing? I just heard... Theo! Theo! What are you doing? You guys aren't even anywhere near each other. I just hear you snarling. What's going on? Theo, do you need a hug? Come here. Oh, come up here. Yeah. It happens? I guess. That's... I don't know when the last time I was without power for like over a day. Alright. What was the last thing we did? Oh, that's right. We went to that corporate office and fucked up its feng shui. Oh, presumably your power company doesn't randomly decide to cancel your autopay. Oh. 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 That's awful. I haven't had that happen to me, although my internet used to have that issue. Well, not that they did tell me, but the autopay just didn't work for a long time, and every once in a while my internet would randomly drop out, and I'd be like, I'm guessing the bill didn't get paid. But that's a lot different from the power. Um, obviously. We did have my old place the last couple of months that I was there. Um, we had like routine power outages. It was only for a few hours at a time. But it was weird because where I lived, my apartment building was basically on the edge of a residential area. It was right behind a grocery store, and there was also which was very convenient. That's one of the things I miss. But and there was also like a McDonald's and a gas station right there, and that whole block like went down when the power went out, and this was happening regularly. And like one of the times was I was out of milk and I was like leaving to go back to my parents for something, some holiday. So I went to the drive-thru at McDonald's for breakfast, and they had just switched over in the drive-thru to all digital screens rather than having a menu on the drive-thru, like a printed thing that's a big menu thing. It was all digital screens. They had just switched over to this, and they were all black. And the line wasn't moving. And eventually someone came out and they're like, "Yeah, our power's out, so we cannot fulfill orders. We can't do anything. Like, you guys just have to leave." Which was very like, glad. How's that new technology working out for you? Like, I mean, I'm sure obviously the dive-through screens not working is not the reason they couldn't fulfill orders, but it was a like the gas station's power was out. It was weird. I mean, the grocery store has like a generator or something. For their freezer stuff doesn't. But yeah, I don't know what was. I was like, I'm sure those businesses were pissed because it was happening like every couple of weeks. All right, we have a bunch of points. I'm up to this. Okay, I'm up to there. Okay. And so we fucked up those guys' feng shui. I think the music needs to get turned down on this trip. Let's see here. Yeah, so we have 3 missions still to do that we have open, because we have all these open missions from the beginning of the game, basically. We're slowly going through them. We also get a nap. I think we talked to everyone last time. We just didn't pick up our payment, apparently. I have 2 unread messages, alright. Oh god. Really? More fucking jobs. Claim payment. Little bird whispered in my ear that Wuxing's fortunes are already falling. Their stock value dropped by 2% already. The client finds this to be an acceptable indication of your success and has forwarded payment. I've attached your cut to this email. Good. Alright, let's read these. Urgent task. Little bird's been whispering in my ear about an urgent and high-paying run. Steel Arm Lou, a red pole, managed to get his hands on information concerning a prototype laser weapon in development by Ares Asia Holdings. For years, the Yellow Lotus and the Red Dragon have been locked into a Cold War. Despite this, we remained evenly matched. Neither one of us could attack the other without being exposed to devastating reprisals. Lou wants to change this, and he has a plan. Rather than strike directly, Lou intends to aim external forces at the Red Dragon, specifically Knight Errant. He intends to frame a white paper fan named Golden Fong, making it appear that the Red Dragon has been bribing Ares researchers for classified data. 2 leading drone and energy weapon researchers have recently been transferred from London and Hong Kong and are running the project. Doctors Taylor and Hardingham were respected in Europe, but in Hong Kong they remain unknown quantities. They are untrusted, and therefore considered untrustworthy. Perfect targets, in other words. We will provide data that will make it look as if the researchers were contacted by Golden Fong and made quite a bit of money, but grew tired of the arrangement. Transfer the attached files to a data chip. Files are bundled with a worm program, which will auto-execute when inserted into the appropriate systems. You need not bring a Decker, though one may be helpful. Okay, sure. You'll need to plant data in the visitor record system, the camera systems in Hardingham and Taylor's labs, financial data to be transferred to Dr. Taylor's personal terminal. That in and of itself will not be enough to assure Knight Errant enrollment, however. Planting the data is only the first part of your task. This is where heavier touch will be required. Well, it had to be dead, right? Oh, okay. I thought they was going to be like, oh, they tried to back, because they said they were trying to back out, or they were going to frame them for trying, like, say they were trying to back out, so I thought they were going to end up dead. Then that's what would lead to the investigation that would find all this fake proof. You also need to steal the prototype laser weapon. There's a GPS tracking device attached to it, which Lou will plant deep in Red Dragon territory. The apparent theft of a prototype weapon by disgruntled Triad members should convince Ares to dispatch overwhelming force against the Red Dragon, dealing them a vicious blow. As a note, Lou does not care what becomes of the laser weapon. If you wish to sell it or keep it, feel free. Laser weapon. I've also attached a map of your extraction route from the building. During the facility's expansion in 2052, Ares Asia was forced to extend their foundations deeper into the island. They drove piles to the former site of the central MTR station, which partially collapsed during the Dalu Bay earthquake of 2044. Okay. Practically, this means you can exit through the basement, directly out of the new MTR line through Central. With any luck, you can be gone without anyone knowing how. This seems like a very high-profile job to be handing to people who are very new to the business. Unfortunately, this route is heavily alarmed, so you'll be forced to go in the front door. If you can con the front desk, you should have no problems. The facility is both an office and a residence. Strange people coming and going at odd hours is not unusual. If you're not up to fast talk, however, be prepared to shoot your way in. Does that... Oh, I guess because we're claiming or pretending to be the Red Dragon people. So... Lou does not care if you're loud or quiet, but a word of caution. He came all this information via the loose lips of one of the research team. Other fixers know of this job. Move fast, you are guaranteed success, but definitely other Shadowrunners with an eye on your prize. Weird. Okay, that's an interesting wrinkle. Steel arm Lou sensors or guards, bids you good fortune and plentiful ammunition. The dramatic jit. Don't die, Cade. Our arrangement has been very profitable so far, and I would hate to lose that. Restaurant job. One of the things I've learned over the years is that even the rich and powerful have annoyances, thorns in their side, if you will. No one is without troubles. The rich just have different ways of solving them. The client for this run has grown tired of one particular thorn in his side. Chung Sung Rooster Lo. Lo is a red pole for one of the smaller triads here in Hong Kong, with 289s, or the Easy Money Gang if you prefer. Despite the 289's small stature, Lo's illegal activities have managed to damage the client's profits. Mr. Johnson would like you to help him show Lo the error of his ways. Lo takes an evening every few months to dine at the Shangri-La restaurant in Aberdeen. If you aren't aware, the Shangri-La is an elite establishment serving primarily corporate clients from Wuxing Incorporated. Because of this, it's not unusual for diners to bring bodyguards and assistants with them. In Lo's case, he brings a particularly brutish enforcer known as the Talon, and undoubtedly feels well protected. You are going to prove just how wrong he is in this regard. You are to kidnap Rooster Lo. Excuse me. So long as he is alive and in relatively good health, all options are on the table. While keeping the run quiet would make things easier for Mr. Johnson, no one will shed too many tears over a few dead Triad thugs. The client has arranged an exit via boat. As long as you can get Lo from the interior to the restaurant's dock, the client will handle everything else. Despite being a bred pole, Lo is a tactician, not a fighter. Don't expect him to put up much of a fight. The Talon, on the other hand, is as nasty as they come. Be careful about how you confront him, or things may go very badly. I'll let the client know you stick to the job. By the time you arrive at Shangri-La, the boat to get you out will be waiting. Alright. Access to BBS. Post pay data. Post the Wuxing logistical data, yeah. Claim payment. Claim payment. Ooh, that's pretty good. Let's read. Is there... Oh, there's a bunch of these. A bunch of them. Okay, typhoon warning. This newscast just aired. For anyone who wants to watch real-time isobar data or Earthsat images of the storm, the basic service paywall on Skywatcher imagery is easily circumvented. The Imperial Japanese Meteorological Agency today issued an advanced typhoon warning for the northern Philippines and the coast of the Guangdong Confederation, as tropical storm Usagi has grown into a full-strength typhoon, Category 3, in the Pacific. Typhoon Usagi has formed late in the year for such a powerful storm. Meteorologists credit this growing trend of awakened cold season typhoons to global warming and powerful magical vortices in the eastern Pacific, which appear to help drive moist air convective over cooler ocean waters. This caster looks down at her notes. According to the official release by Lance Inroki of the IGMA, Usagi is now identified as an awakened storm. We have observed strong lightning activity, electromagnetic anomalies, and extreme concentrations of awakened seabirds along its edges. Awakened storms exhibit anomalous physical and magical behavior. Many experts believe they show reactive intelligence, possibly even self-awareness, and will resist making landfall to prolong their lives, even holding position against prevailing winds. Study of these storms is inhibited by their extreme environmental conditions and astral turbulence. In physical strength, Usagi may peak as a violent typhoon, Category 5 on the Eastern Pacific scale, but will weaken substantially before making landfall. Although the Mariner lore is replete with tales of malicious storms, scientists have detected no provable animosity toward metahumans in the behavior of these miracles of nature. Learn more on Wild Storms of the Pacific, this week's episode of Savage Nature, with host Bertrand Medoneker. The Guangdong coast will likely have a long precursor battering, with drenching rains and moderate winds as Usagi stalls offshore. Usagi is one of the most powerful storms of the season, but is not unusual. Usagi does not have super typhoon potential. This is going to be perfect. Long soft hit by Usagi. Lots of electromagnetic interference. Security and cops all tied up. It's running season. Hope everyone's ready for high operational tempo. Our fixture's already scrambling for crews. I heart storms. Verse Smack. Is this the continuation of the poetry jam thread? Come on, Kamal, and welcome to what could very well be the last Shadowland Poetry Slam. There's something kind of sad about that. End of an era. In honor of Jivebird, I created an expert system that writes haikus. It takes whatever's being said in a thread and turns it into a poem. Mind if I fire it up? Snazzy. Shouldn't have. What kind of poetry slam includes bots? This is lame. Homage to Jivebird. The program stirs, churns out text. 3 lines mar the piece. Aha, that's brilliant. Now I can hang up my quill. I really don't buy that a bot can produce poetry like a living, breathing, feeling human being. Sorry. From Tennyson in Leet Speak. Oh boy. This is bullshit. Despair grips the poets. A machine crafting haikus. The Jive bot breaks free. Was that supposed to happen? The slam is now slammed. This program has broken loose. Pandemonium. We'll look at the bright side. How much damage can a runaway poetry bot do anyway? You fucking people. The hunt continues. Oh, a short clip of a true trade news broadcast begins playing. Despite their efforts, no one has yet to come forward. The government of Hainan has denied all connection with the terrorist fugitives, even going so far as to state that the White Star organization no longer exists. There has still been no word from the HKPF on the whereabouts of the fugitive terrorists. The mood on the streets is nervous. There is no telling when or where these terrorists will strike. For now, the Special Duties Unit of the HKPF remains on active alert, ready to respond at a moment's notice. This is Sunny Chung with Horizon News, signing off. What a load of crap. How are they going to convince us a bunch of crazy terrorists got into the FEZ and just disappeared under their noses, huh? This would never happen if Lone Star was the sole police force here. Sure, because heavily armored terrorists never sneak into Lone Star cities like Chicago and Seattle, only to disappear and remain free to roam the streets after they engage in public gun battles. There's no way Hainan is connected to these people. If they really were White Star, they'd have struck already. Their entire modus operandi is suicide bombing civilian casualties. These people are hiding. They're probably on the wrong side of a setup. Smart man. Sure, because everybody in the shadows is just some bleeding heart fighting the megas because they believe in freedom. Grow the hell up. I'm not sure what that response was meant to. I didn't really get that back and forth. LF Taylor for special job. Searching for a tailor for some unusual custom work. I might know a guy. Is this for armor? Not exactly. It's a surprise birthday gift for a friend. A friend's drone, actually. What exactly do you want a tailor to make for a drone? A cat costume with soft little ears and paws. Or better yet, a bear suit. Or a red samurai outfit. I even have a reference that I can provide. Okay. You got a fat stack of new yen? What's it gonna cost? Find the new yen. Can you help me? This will be so worth it. Yeah, I'll hook you up. Can't get a flight to Seattle. Hey, I've got a problem I'm hoping one of you can help with. I came out to the FEZ 2 weeks ago for work. Now the job is wrapped, I've been trying to get an under-the-table flight to Seattle for the past week. Off the books, no passport control, that kind of thing. Nobody's making the trip. What gives? Check the news feed, man. Haven't you heard? Seattle's on lockdown. Nothing coming into or out of the city without a thorough search for at least another week. They got some smugglers trying to move some really nasty stuff through a covert landing at Discovery Park. That seems a little bit of overreaction. Tons of awful stuff moves through Seattle every day. What's so different about this time? Not like this. You didn't hear it from me, but I have some friends with ICE. They say whatever it was, it set off the radiological alarms of the Coast Guard ship that was sweeping the area. We're talking fissionable material here, enriched and ready to go in a bomb. In the future world of, like, you know, cyberpunk, super whatever shit, and more importantly magic, is a nuke really that... I mean, I guess it's still a big deal. There are just other things that are also similarly big deals. They did nuke the dragon, didn't they? I'm pretty sure that was part of the plot of Dragonfall. I don't really remember what specifically they brought down the dragon with. I think it was basically a nuke. No way, I don't buy that for a second. More likely some corp had an accident with one of their ships and dumped some radiological material. I just don't want to admit it, so City Hall is covering their asses. Don't dismiss the news so lightly. The smugglers were carrying cargo for Winter Night. It's only pure luck the cargo was intercepted at all. Who the hell is Winter Night? Sounds like a goblin rock band. Not who, what? All you need to know is this. Winter Night is bad news. You cross them, they destroy your life. You ever run into any of them on a job, I suggest a solution that comes in 7.62mm. Sounds like someone trying to build a reputation through... Sorry, just a sec. Okay. New Pinoy in HK. Hi there, just arrived in HK from CFS and want to meet the other runners of the Philippines. Salamat po! Anyone? I make really good pancit. Didn't we... Who did we talk to about, like, Philippine stuff? Well, why didn't you say so right away? Oh, there's someone in, the... whatever. The town. That's right. I hope it's not literally this person. It might be, though. I don't remember their name. Why didn't you say so right away? Kamusta Pocayo. Lots of former Huck families here. Welcome. Hi, Tagasan-ka. Me from Manila. I'm a Decker. You? QC Decker too. Here, QC here. I'm a Decker too. Pants is fine and good. Can you also make Dinuguan? PM me if you can. What was that noise? Was that? Oh, that was on my phone. That was a weird noise. Alright. Kamusta. Nice to meet you, QC Blues. Hi there, Street Mage here. Might know some Pinoy runners looking for a new Decker. Welcome, welcome. Oh. Okay. Alright. So we now... like, why do we have so many missions? We also have a bunch of money, so that's good. I'm a little worried about... I'm gonna rest, but... I'm a little worried that there's gonna be like a... I want to be able to do all the missions. I'm just worried there's gonna be like a timer or something that sets up at some point. But... You wake with a start. Once again, you're tangled in your sheets, drenched in sweat. Your throat feels like it's on fire. Can't remember what your dreams were about, not precisely, but again you feel that yearning sensation, the emptiness in your gut and in your chest. Your head throbbing, you heave yourself out of bed. Alright. So we want to go buy some shit maybe? Or at least look at what we can buy. Let's go to look at the spells. We have money now, so that's good. Oh, she's got better weapons. I didn't realize there were better weapons. Oh. Well, let's get a better weapon. That seems fairly valuable to get. Oh, we also have better armor too. Holy shit, much better armor to get. Oh, this costs so much money. Also spells that deal... Wow. Oh, she got all new spells. Haste. Oh, I want the haste. I don't have Conjuring 6, but I don't know if... Rat Lady. I can't remember I can't remember names right now. That's Conjuring 6 now. Conjuring 7. Definitely eventually have Conjuring 6. I mean, one of us will. That's cool. Of course, 3 AP. I don't have 3 AP yet. Not sure when I get that. There's a lot of spells now. She really got some new shit in. Yeah, so I have Monobolt and Monoball. Man, and they're expensive. They're so expensive. Do I have shit to sell? Oh, that technically, but that's... I guess I can sell that. So a bunch of spells. Ooh, does that mean? Oh well, I can't use a new cyber deck if I get a better cyber deck. Are you the? Um, I wish I could look at my teammates' stuff. I guess I can do it if I go in here. So what is our next mission? Wampoa or DECCON? Probably Wampoa. Get back out of here. I just want to look at. You let me look at your skills. You are only at. Darn it. Look at her skills. There we go. You're at Conjuring 4 and Spellcasting 4. Okay. Good to know. are at decking 4. These rounded characters, they all have such wastes of points. Alright, well that gives us a sense of... So they have 4 right now. We could get to 5 technically in spellcasting, not in conjuring. I don't think. No. Yeah. No, we would not be able to get to... Right. There's that advantage. Get the new etiquette. It's tempting to just go here. Grab another spell block slot and be able to grab those good spells. Let's look at what the level 6 spells are actually available. Let's go look. Spiels. Alright, 2,000 for this. Lightning Bolt. It does a lot of damage. It's pretty good. To the next closest 2 characters. That's also pretty good. This is a lot of damage. It does take 2, God, these are all good spells. Who'd have thought? Granted, in Deadfire, when I level up, a lot of the spells I'm just like, eh? Weird. This is like, well, there's Fireball too, but then there's Spell Focus Fireball too, which does less damage but has a bigger AoE. Also, all the fireballs have a cooldown, so I guess that's like some kind of meta magic option in the tabletop, but is here represented as separate spells. There's also Mana Bolt, which is armor piercing, but it really does a lot less damage, right? That was like 15 versus 10. Ongoing 8 damage for 1 round. Oh, the ongoing damage ignores armor, which I don't think is true for here. This is ongoing 7 for 2 rounds, though. That just seems like most of the time it's going to almost always deal more damage, even with armor. It seems like that's just going to deal more damage. Stun Ball is okay. Thing is, I can't really buy many spells still. I can buy like 1, maybe 2. I like Fireball. I like Lightning Bolt. I can't get both right now. Lightning Bolt's probably better to get. 25 damage, holy shit. 1 cooldown. I feel like he's probably a short range though. Because that's insane. Of course, spellcasting 8 and charisma 5. The hell? Spellcasting 4, intelligence 2. Well, you have to have intelligence 2 to even have spellcasting 4. That's weird. Is that like a mistake? Is this one just requires spellcasting 6? Blindness. That's cool. Cannot see your attack targets, yeah. For 2 rounds. I think we get the lightning bolt, to be honest, to replace our mana bolt. Much as I would like to get, I mean, this is also real good. But I don't have anyone who can use it right now. We could get this, but that just seems like a waste when we could just save up for this. I don't know how high the levels go, how the spell levels go. Wait. Spellcasting 7? I thought it required 6. Oh, fuck. Oh, damn it. Oh. Oh. What a waste. I mean, I'll get there eventually, but... What a waste. I could have sworn it said 6. But I guess I was just looking at all the other ones that said 6. I did not... That's so weird. Required spellcasting 7. That's so weird. I really thought that it said... Oh, I probably should have actually bought the upgraded weapon. I actually forgot about that. I wonder if I can afford that. I don't remember how much it was. I think it might be too expensive now. Much as I don't want to be shooting it, I do it. Nope, I can't quite get it. Oh, really? Okay, I can sell something. I mean, I'm not using this, so... It's a... what is this? It's a pistol. I don't remember who uses pistols, but not really. There are some people who use pistols, but they don't actually shoot them. Okay. This is a pretty significant upgrade from the first one, which is 6 damage. Yeah, over twice as much. I was like, you better let me use this one. Can I now sell... I can sell my Powerbolt 1, which is weird. I don't even know what it means to sell this, but... Okay. Alright, whatever. Whatever. Alright, let's go to Wampawa. Who's killing the Wampoan elders? Alright, so... Oh, she has haste too now. That's good. So her spells just automatically upgrade. Which I figured, but... Should we take Isabel with us? She's just so good to have, though. I just wonder if Isabel might have stuff to say about the Wampoans, as opposed to Gobbet. I guess we can do it. It's probably fine. Story. Could just let us take 4 people, but no. Everyone knows strict Shadowrunners, 5 people on a run is just too much. It spells disaster. Wampoa Garden, carnival of chrome and neon, rife with every manner of technology and artifice one can imagine. The entire area has the feel of a night market, save that chips are sold in lieu of steamed buns, and vendors hawk the latest drones rather than folk art. Something stalks these streets, hiding just out of sight. It stalks the Wampoan elders, the leaders of the band of tech-savvy squatters that have claimed this neighborhood as their own. The streets smell of ozone and fear, and those Wampoans you pass in the MTR station have a haunted, furtive look in their eye. While the killers struck only at the elders thus far, it may only be a matter of time before ordinary residents are menaced as well. I got home today, I got my mail, which included an envelope from my landlord, and it was like bizarrely sharp, and it kind of, when I was opening it, I cut in between 2 of my fingers, like down at where the fingers meet. It's just a little cut, but oh god, it's a paper cut, right? It hurts. Sorry. Get your sniper rifle. So did they get upgraded armor? Oh, they did get upgraded armor. Well, I didn't get upgraded armor, so... No, I don't need to spend my karma. The streets of Wampoa Garden are slick with rain, glittering under the neon glow of myriad signs and holographic displays. The sky reflects the same glow, painting the white apartment blocks the sickly orange of sodium streetlights. The smell of grilling meat mingles with other rarer scents, ozone, engine oil, and high-tech fabrication facilities. Despite the hour, there are plenty of people out and about. You can hear the calls of street vendors and touts, urging people into their stores. Isabel wrinkles her nose, scowling darkly. She wraps her arms tightly around her chest, staring off into the distance. Is there a word for feeling nostalgic for a place you can't wait to leave again? I don't miss this place, but I miss the feelings I had when I lived here. Okay, she did live here. I didn't actually think that she was involved with Wampoa. I just figured she might have stuff to say because of being a Decker. Saudade, maybe? I don't know what that means. Isabel shakes her head. No, that's not it. It's close, but... She lets the sentence trail off into nothingness, clamping her mouth shut for a moment. Isabel sighs heavily. This place seemed like heaven after the walled city, like the whole world had unfurled in front of me, and anywhere I turned there was the promise of a good life. Turned out this place was just as crappy as everywhere else. Everyone was still in it for themselves. If my own life in the Barrens taught me anything, it's that if you can find people worth sticking with, they'll save your life. You live for each other, watch each other's backs. Duncan shrugs. That's about as deep as it gets for me. Yeah, we know, Duncan. Perhaps, then, that is enough. If it works for you, good. And Ractor's over here like, I, on the other hand, have a master plan to save humanity by transferring all of our minds into robots. Isabel turns toward you and points down the street to your left. We're looking for the Wampoan elders. They're going to be in the Wampoa itself. That's the big ship down the street. That's the mall shaped like a boat, right? Isabel nods, lips first. That's the one. Somebody thought it would be clever to make a uniquely shaped mall. Of course they did. Well, we gotta explore before we go to the main objective. Hey, that robot guy. Something the humans. Oh, this is the boat. I see. The little railing and the little... Not a big area. Nothing in here right now. Can't talk to anyone, so... I'm guessing we'll be able to talk to people after we go in. Interesting. Of course they have an arcade. And, holographic cowboy lady? Oh, it's a clothes store, but... Huh. Okay. Let's talk to Elder... I don't know how to pronounce that, god damn it. This orc woman is festooned with small circuits, tiny trid screens, and speakers. The trid screens display the snippets of trid broadcasts from every corner of the world. Tiny speakers play counterpoint with a susurrus of voices speaking Sparathiel, Punjabi, Kazakh, and other languages. Her expression is haggard, and she fidgets with her fingers as you approach. Is that really... Wouldn't you just have headphones that are playing... You don't need multiple speakers to play different tracks. Welcome. Welcome to Lompoa, my friend. I'm Elder Ng, and these are Elders Tang and Ip. She gestures to the elf and human, who each incline their heads respectfully. Thank you so much for answering our request for help. We had nowhere else to turn. Well, it's the least I could do. Under Tang's skin, glowing tattoos writhe and change shape. Tigers become cranes and move on to dragons. We're under threat. One by one, we elders are being hunted by some monster. As you may have noticed when you arrived, there's been another killing just tonight. No? Did I walk past? I didn't walk past a murder scene. Ip crosses his solid chrome arms. Holographic readouts dance constantly over their surface, displaying diagnostic information about their state, operating temperature, servo pressure, and a variety of other minutiae. He looks past you towards Isabel. God. These guys are like... I realize this is a dumb thing to say, but it's the first thing that popped in my head was these guys are like steampunk cosplayers, but for cyberpunk, which obviously is the reverse of, you know, like, I mean, I know, but in the sense of I don't really know any like there aren't people that like dress up with elaborate cyberpunk costumes that have just needless, pointless gizmos all over, right? As far as I'm aware. Whereas that is a thing with steampunk. It's like, why would anyone have this? It doesn't serve any purpose. It's just dumb. Anyway, The prodigal daughter returned once more. I didn't expect to see you back aboard the Wampoa in my lifetime, Isabel. When you disappeared, Elder Yatunde was very put out. I'm glad you're still alive. When you chose to walk your own path, I was disappointed, but I still understood why you had to leave. He pauses, tasting the air as he chooses his next words with care. I hope my lessons have helped you prosper. Oh, well, I'm really glad that I brought her. Didn't expect you back either. Work takes you places, though. She shrugs. A moment later, she places a hand on her pistol, eyes trained on the Ip's shoes. I don't cart this around for fun. Lessons kept me alive. She blinks several times and looks up at Ing, her expression clouded. Where is Yatunde anyway? I expect her to be here. I'm pretty sure she's dead, Isabel. She shakes her head sadly. She reaches out a hand towards Isabel, who shrinks away from it. She's dead. So are Gan and Nakamura, and Tong was killed just tonight. So much blood. You have to stop this from continuing. Isabel's expression remains impassive, but her knuckles grow white as her hands fall up into fists. That's what we're here for. We'll stop the killings. I don't know why you hired Shadowrunners to solve a murder, or series of murders. I mean, obviously you're not going to the cops, but like, and they're like private cops that you could hire, criminal cops, or like cops you can hire on their off duty that don't care because they're corrupt. Thank you, Isabel. She lifts a hand, wiping away tears from her eyes. What can you tell me about the murders? They started 2 weeks ago. First to go was Gan. We found him in his apartment, eviscerated. Ing swallows, grimacing at the painful memory. He'd been torn apart. His head had been ripped completely off, and most of his skin flayed away. There was so much blood, it took us a week to clean out his apartment. Tang nods, running his palm over his forehead. The rest have been the same. Always at night, always dismembered. Each scene is like a nightmare. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna have to go get some water. And every time, nobody has seen anything. It's like a ghost. So before the stream, I set the cat cam up on the bed because I was like, the cats were running around. They weren't settled down anywhere. I was like, I feel like they're gonna be on the bed tonight, and Dio's still running around. But so I just went out to get water. Yeah, Rose is chilling on the couch. I guess I should have set it up out there. She looks very serene. What about Tong? Same thing that happened to the rest of the victims. Evisceration, dismemberment. He sent a guard to keep people out of his shop, but he'll let you in. When did he die? Sometime early tonight. He locked up his shop, but Ip stepped by to ask him about some skill chips he had. The door was unlocked, and inside. She lifts her hands helplessly. She opens her mouth, but no words come out. Happens a lot in this game. It's a common description. Seeing her inability to continue, Ip takes over. Inside looked like a bad horror sim, just like all the other murders. It had to have happened after sundown because I saw his shop was open when I was on my way to get some noodles for dinner. Hi, Dio. Why didn't you call the police? The Hong Kong police force isn't welcome here. They've tried to force us out several times before, or come hunting for someone to put a crime on. We do a lot of favors for local gangs and triads, handle their matrix security, fix up their gear, make sure they have access to the Hong Kong Shadowlands hub. We're too valuable a resource for them to lose, so they protect us when the HKPF or anyone else decides we're an easy target. They handle our physical security, and we make sure to send the message via the Matrix. Last time the HKPF made trouble, we started airing the assistant chief's dirty laundry over the Trid. They got the picture and backed off. Well, have you made any enemies lately? She shrugs helplessly. Not that I can think of. We keep to ourselves. We buy and sell technology. We're not mercenaries or criminals, we're merchants and deckers. And even if someone was cheated in a deal, this kind of response is unthinkable. Whatever did this, it wasn't human. The violence and savagery. It's a monster, whatever it is. Plenty of metahumans are monsters too. Just because it's horrible doesn't mean it's supernatural. I mean, magic is supernatural. Technically, I think metahumans are basically supernatural. Obviously, supernatural doesn't actually make sense as a term when it's real, because then it's just natural, which is a thing that I hate about settings, like fantasy settings. It's like, the thing that makes magic seem magical is the fact that it doesn't exist. If it existed, it would be replicable. It would just be science. It's a different kind of science. Anyway, don't need to get into have that discussion, but what do the Wampoan elders do anyway? Isabel snorts derisively. They make the rules and kick people out who don't obey them. They're a bunch of petty tyrants, that's what. Wow, Isabel. Tell them how you feel. You're being unfair, Isabel. Our laws are for the good of the community. We keep the Wampoa and its residents safe. We review trade agreements with outsiders to see if they're good for the community. We provide a guiding vision, like a town council. I mean, they are really weird. She bows her head and spreads her arms wide. Our ways may seem strange to you, but they have sustained us for many years. I do not expect you to understand. No, I'm just trying to be polite, Isabel. I understand. I am the invoker of sprites. Okay. I commune with the spirits of machines, ask them for blessings, and pass those blessings on to the people here. Wow, that's wild and great. I do like that. I heal the sick and ensure the feng shui of our habitats is as good as it can be, given our confines. She's a shaman, that's all. She just got some kooky spin on it. Claims her totem is some kind of all-encompassing machine god that lives in circuitry. Isabel pats her deck. Ancient gods and ancestors are one thing. My deck? It's mine. I built it. The only spirits that's got in it are the ESPs I loaded it with. Yeah! Hokey religions and ancient weapons are one thing, kid. No match for a good blaster at your side. She gives Isabel a look of deep sadness. Just because you cannot see or touch a thing does not mean that it does not exist. Just because you do not believe in it does not mean it does not protect you from afar. You can't touch programs either, but at least I can prove they have an effect on the physical world. Your superstitions are just that. Bullshit. Isabel glances at you, jerking a thumb towards Tang. This guy treats drones like they're living things. These people are interesting. Is that right? Tang extends his arms, palms up. As you watch, the tattoos therein shift into complex mathematical formula. I am the first in glorious servo. Wow, these guys. I study patterns, repair machinery, teach others how to attune themselves to the wonders of automation. The Blessed Autofab is my shop and purview, where we make the drones we use and sell. Really? What a fascinating and spiritual spin on things. Rector inclines his head towards Tang. I'd be interested in hearing more about your philosophy once we're done with the job. I think I may find your perspective to be very interesting. Fucking Rector. As for me, I serve as the Resplendent Voltage Spike. He smiles crookedly. That means I shoot people who try to screw with us. It's a fancy title for head of security. The Resplendent Voltage Spike. God. Did not get the sense from Maximum Law that they were like a weird machine god cult. It might be wise to ask the residents of Wampoa Garden if they've seen or heard anything after you've gone to Tong's Sensory Carnival. They may have seen or heard things we have not. Good to know. Okay. So where is... Still nothing in here, huh? I'm surprised there's nothing in here to... anyone else in here to talk to. Okay, that's the sensory carnival. Can we still not talk to anyone? I guess we have to go... I guess we have to go in before we can talk to anyone. Look at all those people in their black suits and their black umbrellas. Porter Lamb at your service. The others told me to be coming. They tell you what happened to Tong? Just the basics. Well, nothing's basic about this. I've seen people shot, stabbed, beaten to death. Hell, I've been in a course that was so dry and desiccated I could have sworn a vampire got to it. None of that's got anything on this. Brace yourself. Go on in. Tong's Sensory Carnival looks like a scene out of a B-grade slasher sim. The cloying scent of incense hangs thick and pungent in the air, emanating from the small shrine in the corner of the shop. Unfortunately, it does nothing to cover up the reek of death and clotted blood. Despite the ragged remnants of Elder Tong littering the floor, the rest of the shop appears to be in good order, at least at first glance. Nothing is broken, tipped over, or otherwise ransacked. As you're about to step further into the room, you glance at the ceiling and walls. The blood from Tong's body isn't just confined to where his remains lie. Drying blood is spread about the walls and ceiling as well. Great. Yeah, look at what's down there. Oh, that's one photo. They just shoved it off to the side so you don't have to go through a big load or something. Alright, bear with me. Oh. Darn it. Stupid thing. Well... Well, he's not very visible, but Dio is there. Okay. Need someone with biotech. Like Ractor. Tong's body is a ruined mess. The destroyed ruin of his face is barely recognizable, and what is left of his body would best be described as savaged. All of his limbs have been torn off, and a pile of flayed skin lies next to the remnants of the Wampoan Elder. Ugh. What a... is this... Wampoan's clothing has been all but reduced to rags and tissue by cuts and tears, apparently sustained during the flaying. At this point, the only thing holding what's left of his body into a semblance of human form is the hair-thin fiber optics of his cyberware. Isabel's face twists into a disgusted grimace, and she turns to look away. Looks like someone dropped him into an industrial meat grinder almost, except they brought the grinder with them. Who the hell kills like this? Someone with a highly evolved need for ritual murder, I suspect. The manner of pathology is not seen in sane individuals. Ractor gestures at the body impassively. Look, parts of him are missing. Curious. Have Ractor examine the body. Ractor takes his time examining the body, taking small notes on his PDA. Curious. No subdermal bruising where the skin's been removed. No sign of a struggle. Coagulation of blood and lividity marks a time of death between 2 and 4 hours ago. The knife marks are methodical. The killer doesn't seem to have been interested in preserving the skin as any kind of whole. It was removed a bit like one fillets a fish, the path of least resistance. Some of the strips of skin have a more ragged edge than others. The ragged edge looks consistent with a claw rather than a blade. Ractor makes a curious noise as he examines the remnants of Tong's face and neck. His neck's been severed between the 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae. Scoring across the bone indicates a bladed weapon, a sharp one at that. Doesn't match any of the other wounds. Ractor stands and looks directly in the eye. If I'd had to guess, I'd say he was killed with a blow to the back of the neck. Everything else was subsequent damage. Why would someone kill him and then skin him? Honestly, I have no idea. Perhaps whoever did the rest of the damage was secondary, an action opportunity or the like. Without further information, I'm not comfortable guessing. Use astral perception to sense the body. I don't know what sense means here. Taking a deep breath, you allow your senses to expand into astral space. Colors of the room bleed away, replaced with the vibrant lights and emotions of the spirit world. Ooh. Surprisingly, no emotions of fear or anger pervade the room. The abiding emotion the room is steeped in is one of perfunctory satisfaction, as if someone had accomplished an important task. It seemed likely that Tong was surprised. If he was not, it would be certain that you would feel lingering fear within the room. You mean he didn't see it coming? Maybe we're dealing with an assassin, not a monster. I'm okay with that. I understand assassins. Monsters, not so much. I assume whatever we could get out of using biotech is what Ractor got out of it, so. The walls are covered in splattered and smeared blood, most of which is hardened into a crusty, congealed paste. Thick tracks of it run laterally. Looks like the blood has been deliberately smeared. Hey, Cade? I don't know a whole lot about science or all that, but I know what blood looks like when it hits the wall. This isn't natural. Somebody deliberately smeared blood all over these walls. See how it looks like it's got paint trails? It's because somebody used Tong's parts like a brush. So they painted his walls with blood. Why? Do I look like a psychologist to you? Maybe because they're a freak. Maybe they're one of those sick serial killers that sees their murders as art. I got no clue. But you can go watch Hannibal on NBC from, God, however many years ago that was now. All I know is what normal blood looks like on a wall, and this ain't it. Some people have a bad grasp of art. I know this guy in Kwantong used to make music out of stray radio static and panic button calls. He called it Crisis Wave. It was awful. Thanks, Isabel. That was helpful. God, my dumbass outfit is... Like, what is this, like, helmet? Or hat? Search the bathroom. Desk save. Alright. Tong's desk drawers are open. The safe that's built into one side has been opened. There's no sign of tampering, and the green light next to the word unlocked is blinking. Whoever opened the safe did it with a key fob. Inside are several blank cred sticks, but no sign of any money on them. A Wampone elder with no money in his safe. My ass. Somebody cleaned him out. Probably grabbed the key fob out of his pocket. Why would you... People are fucking dumbasses. I mean... I could totally buy it. It's just like, really, guys? You use a... Like, it's like people putting, like, facial recognition... Well, facial recognition is even worse. But people putting, like, a thumbprint scanner as the key to their phone. And it's like... Guys, somebody can just stick your hand on there, like... I mean, I guess if you're worried about it being stolen, if that's your primary concern, but obviously, like, if you're concerned about, like, the cops getting into your phone, granted, they're probably going to do that anyway, but because they have backdoors, but it'll take them longer. Facial recognition is even worse because you can literally fool it, some of them, with photographs, which is hilarious. Let's search the bathroom. Tong's bathroom is immaculate, and the drains are tiny. Whoever killed him didn't exit through here. Okay. Maybe it did. Maybe it was Tombs. SimSense Editor. This is a Yamaha 95000V SimSynth device for mixing and mastering SimSense chips. Several drive bays are empty and all the chip jacks are empty. The screen is flashing a repeated error message. Warning. Requested files cannot be found. Please return drives to bay and try again. We'll have Isabel debug it. She's a better decorator than me at this point, and also she's knows what she's looking for. Maybe. Isabel rattles out some commands on the Simpsons keyboard, stepping away after a few seconds with a look of satisfaction on her face. There. Put the drive warning on suspend. It's in diagnostic mode only, though. It's in diagnostic mode only, though. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe not. Yamaha SimOS 523 system diagnostics checks. Memory okay. Drive error. Assist bus okay. Beginning chord. A long debug spew that scrolls along the synth's screen is filled with numbers indicating recent files, play links, keyframes, and assist peak levels. Based on the numbers you're seeing, Tong's synth has been hacked to remove the peak controller levels from the chips he's been burning, the required operation to make BTL chips. The delta wave outputs for these chips push them dangerously into brain-burning territory. The file catalog for the high-peak BTLs indicates all the files and burned chips should be stored on the missing drives and whatever was in the empty chip jacks. Somebody's cleaned out Tong's BTL stash. Okay. Okay. What do you do around here, Porter? It's a catch-all category, I guess. I work for Elder Ip. It's a bit like being a deputy. Make sure people don't break the rules. Protect people who need protecting. Mostly I just do whatever Ip asks me to. It's a pretty quiet job, most days. Today's not one of those days. I also handle a lot of maintenance. I don't actually do the repairs, but I've got most of the keys. Makes it easy to ensure only authorized people get into sensitive places. Electricity goes down, I let in the electrician who fixes the wiring. Toilet's clogged, I let in the drone guy who opens it back up. It looks like somebody's went through Tong's things. Anyone else been inside? Not since I've been here, but before I found him. Could have been anybody, really. Hip had a key to his place, but the lock's total crap. Anybody have decent at cracking maglocks who gotten inside? What's missing? His BTLs, hard drives, and cred sticks. Sounds like the killer looted his place to me. All this talk of monsters? Yeah, sure. They're scary things that go up in the night. Most of the scary bumps I hear are from handguns and gangers. Alright, so now we can hopefully go talk to people. Or not. Okay, here's a person we can talk to. Zippy! Oh, Zippy Kaye. This orc is busily snacking on a steamed bun. As you approach, he wipes off one of his hands and sticks it towards you. Hey, stranger. Nice to see you. Zippy Toe Tag at your service. How are you liking Wempoa Garden? I'm Cade. Nice to meet you, Zippy. Nice to meet you, too. Listen, I know it's a little forward of me to just say hello and whatnot, but I'm interested in giving you a hand if I can. Zippy gestures expansively at the squalid, neon-lit streets of Wempoa Garden. This is my home, at least for the time being, and I'd like to stop these killings. We've never met before, but I know exactly who you are. You're my replacement. The elders had me autopsy what was left of Elder Gan and Elder Nakamura after they got ripped apart, but I didn't want to dig any deeper. So since I don't know you, I could spell a Shadowrunner a while away. You gotta be the outsider that has to stop the killings, right? Zippy tilts his head back, obviously pleased at his amateur deduction. Nothing gets by you, does it? See? I have good eyes. A lot of good eyes, actually, if you're in the market for replacements. Only slightly used. And they only come from certified donors, I swear. A hearty belly laugh erupts from the orc, and he slaps one of his thighs in elation. Man, I killed myself. I've got eyes. If only you could see what I've seen with your eyes, Zippy. Jesus. Pretty funny. You a stand-up comedian? With jokes like that? Are you kidding me? I'm one of the only trained surgeons around here. I keep the other Wampoans healthy. Gotta practice down the road. Blind Chen's a pretty good cyber doc, but he's basically an implant specialist, and that's it. How did you end up here? I did my residency back in the UCAS. Could have become a real MD too if things hadn't gone south for unrelated reasons. Sippy opens his coat, revealing a cyber deck. Pats it proudly. I also deck a little, but I'm better at slicing skin than ice. Wampoa Garden seemed like a good fit for me. So is it fairly peaceful around here? For the most part. Other than these killings, we don't have much in the way of problems. We do information security for the Triads, and that makes us fairly impervious to anyone who wants to start trouble. Anyone starts something, we hit them in the Matrix, while our Triad friends hit them in meat space. Some small-time gangs have tried pushing in here before, but they backed off when they figured out they weren't just picking a fight with Tang and his guys, but with both the Red Dragon and Yellow Lotus. They got the message real quick. What was left of them, anyway. You must have a lot of customers. That's the chip truth. I have to charge to cover my costs and eat, but it's damn near free service. There's always a waiting list, but it's good, honest work. I like helping my neighbors in the community. We all look out for each other. If somebody messes with one of us, they mess with all of us. That kind of community is rare as gold these days. How many people have an ethos like us? Not the damn corpse, that for sure. I've lived a lot of places, done my fair share of Shadowrunning, but this place is special. It's been a long time since I really felt like anywhere was a real home. Sippy looks off past you towards the Wampoa Garden streets. His expression grows wistful, like he's remembering something from a long time ago. I'm sure I'll move again, but not for a while. I'm not done with this city or these people. Let me ask you about Wampoa Garden. Sure thing. What do you want to know? What can you tell me about the elders? Zippy laughs, shrugging. Well, they're an eclectic bunch, that's for sure. Where to start? Ing's the spiritual leader here. She's the voice of the Wampoans, I guess. A lot of her close friends are really more of followers, since she's something of a priest for the machine spirits. Maybe it's a cultural thing for people who grew up here, but it's never called to me. Still, she makes a damn fine pot of tea. Ip's the muscle, has an encyclopedic knowledge of cyber and Bioware. Definitely a good guy to have watching your back. Not too friendly, but you know how it is. You get a lot of cyber, people start wondering if they'll tear their arms off. Zippy makes a chopping gesture with one hand. He's got moves straight out of Blood Carnival 3, The Reckoning. Terrible movie, but great fight choreography. And what about Tang? I don't know much about him, but I think he's got some kind of fetish for automation. Found him cooing over some trids of automated delivery drones in a warehouse once. He works with drones, has a shop called the Blessed Autofab. He was raving about the efficiency of the movement patterns or something. You already know about Tong. Ran sims, BTLs, skill chips. Gan used to be a city planner before he had a nervous breakdown and got involved in statistical analysis. So he pauses to collect his thoughts. Nakamura came from Fukuoka and was interested in entertainment. Tread mostly. Spent a long time analyzing subliminals and ads. Then there was Magpie. She was the chief decker. Hot as hell against ice. And built her own hardware. Salty old woman, though. Never met anyone who's quite as shrill or nasty when she was mad. She was mad most of the time. Nobody mentioned Magpie to me. When did she die? She didn't. Maybe a month ago she just up and disappeared. I went to her shop one day, she just wasn't open. Nobody's seen her since. Kind of a pain in the ass, too. She owed me some new analyze software she picked up. I've never heard of Magpie either. She must be one of the newer Wampoans. If she was the Decker, she would have replaced Elder Gao. No surprise there. Gao was older than Qin Shui Hongdi's Terracotta Warriors. When I was learning decking from him, he could barely get out of bed. Still fast as hell in the Matrix, though. How can you be new and an Elder? Isabel rolls her eyes. It's a stupid name. It doesn't actually have much to do with time spent in the community. That it's something to do with it, sure, but it's mostly about how skilled you are, how good your connections are, how much you can help everybody else. Should I call them experts or something? Bingo, that's exactly it. She was only here for about 3 years, but she knew a lot of people all over the Matrix, in Shanghai, in Beijing, all kinds of places. That plus her skill meant she was a shoo-in when Gao died. Why would she disappear? No idea. One day she was here, the next poof. At first I thought she was just on vacation, since she had mentioned wanting to see the Kingdom of Hawaii someday. Well, that's nice that that's back, I guess. She would have at least told me she was leaving. Oh, but it didn't feel like she would have at least told me she was leaving. It seems mighty suspicious to me. Nobody else seems to care what happened to her, probably because she pissed them all off so bad. A little odd for her to just disappear, don't you think? I mean, that's literally what he said, but... Of course it's odd. She owed me lunch, too, and she was the sort who paid her debts promptly. You might want to check out her shop. It's all locked up, but the other elders have a spare key. Couldn't hurt to look around. Even though Magpie was always butting heads with the other elders, they wouldn't have any reason not to let you in. What do you mean they were butting heads? Magpie and the others never saw eye to eye. She was contrary for the sake of it. Most of the rest had a grand vision for what they wanted this neighborhood to become. Magpie just wanted a deck. She was only an elder because they needed someone with her matrix chops. The last big argument was between her, Ip, and Nakamura. It was over something relatively trivial. I think Nakamura wanted to expand the pirate trade business into the Matrix. She just absolutely refused. Why did she refuse? She said something about not using up valuable bandwidth for trivial entertainment bullshit. Anyway, it went from there into this rant about how she wasn't going to let Tong expand his drone business any further because it would get too much megacorp attention. They accused her of blocking them just because she could, which is probably true. Lots of screaming. What do you mean, blocking them? Everybody needs their matrix skills for their businesses to run properly. There are other deckers, me, say, or Moi Janebi, but she had the infrastructure. If their projects didn't interest her, she wouldn't even give them the time of day. It's really weird that the Wampoans are like the tech people who run the matrix in this area. They don't have more deckers? Aren't they all deckers in some... Wouldn't everyone be a decker in some capacity? They just also have other interests? She's a real hardhead about having her time wasted. But she figures if she's not interested in something, it has no value objectively. Kind of a major blind spot if you ask me. Sounds like she was critical. Yes and no. She was, but since she disappeared, Elder Ip's been taking over overrunning the Matrix infrastructure. He's not as good at it as she was, but his experience with drones makes him the best candidate. They wouldn't entrust something like that to anyone who wasn't an elder, so there you go. What are your thoughts on the murders? There's a sharp intake of breath as Zippy shakes his head. Pretty gruesome business. Gan died from a broken neck. Looks like someone had wrenched it around. His arms and legs were cut off. Some skin flayed away too. Nakamura had his throat ripped out by someone with pretty sharp teeth. At first I thought it was a devil rat, but the teeth marks were all from something with a humanoid jaw. I didn't look at Yatunde. From what I saw at a distance, it was the same story. Didn't see much point since I'd seen it twice already. As for Tong, from what Porter told me, it was Gan and Nakamura all over again. You take a look at it yet? Yeah, it's the same as you described for the others. Zippy shakes his head sadly. Damn, I liked Tong. Retail business is unsavory, but the man had to eat, and his regular sims were great. Generally all around nice guy. Friendly with everyone, never had anyone mad at him. There ain't no justice, let me tell ya. Looks like Tong was killed by a blade, not a broken neck or a bite. Zippy recoils, shuddering against the rain. What kind of blade? A knife? Sword? Maybe an axe? I don't know, but he was attacked at the base of his neck. I don't like that at all. Zippy shivers, looking warily around. This whole affair has got me on edge. People dying is nothing new, but flayed skin. Ugh. After a moment, Zippy composes himself and looks back at you. It sounds possible that whoever's been killing the elders is trying to muddy the waters with all the blood and gore business. This is the crime of an intelligent, careful killer. Be careful. This investigation might take you somewhere very unpleasant. See you later, Zippy! Pretty sure I did this quest the first time I played this game, but I don't remember it. The man in front of the stall is rooting through a box of music chips with the swift fingers of someone who knows what they're looking for. Behind him, a music player pumps out a constant stream of distorted, atonal music. The stall's proprietor is nowhere to be seen. Can you believe this? I've got 4 bootlegs of Echelon 60, the unreleased Enoch and Keys double chip show from Brazzaville, but absolutely 0 chips from Shotgun Bloom. This stall stuff is purely second rate. You're right, that does suck. Shotgun Bloom's one of the best bands I've heard in years. Easy. Wow, Duncan. The music aficionado nods enthusiastically. See, your friend gets it. Real talent, that crew. Like nothing I've ever heard before. Why is he talking to me and not to Duncan? Like, why doesn't he... I guess I walked up to him, but... Decker inclines his head politely towards you. Moe Janebi at your service. Decker, technologist, music fan. You're not from around here, are you? You don't hold yourself like a native. Not Wampoa Garden, no. Moe runs a hand through his hair. I guess it could be Mo. Through his hair, shaking the collected rain off it. I thought so. What brings you out here? Trying to find out who's been killing the elders. Decker pauses for a moment, face falling. Oh, that's a nasty business. I heard Dong died tonight. I don't know who or what they pissed off, but it seems like a really bad scene. I'm trying to keep my nose out of it. Still, I like this place. Is there anything I can do to help? What can you tell me about the Wampoans? We're a collection of freaks, geeks, nerds, and tech junkies. This place may look like a third world bazaar, but believe me, we have stuff here that's cutting edge in almost every field. Mo swells with pride and plants both hands firmly under his hips. Maybe it's not as advanced as the stuff the Megas have in their development labs, but it's advanced as anything you can find in a store. People come from all over the world to buy and sell here, to work out deals for big shipments. We've got contacts with every pirate and smuggling group in the South China Sea, and every major syndicate and gang in the Free Enterprise Zone knows not to mess with us. Not only are there a lot of us, nobody wants to lose what we're selling. The Red Dragon made a play 4 years ago, but we chased him out. Mo gestures with both hands of shooing away a bothersome insect. Scooted off back to home on tin. They've never been back. Well, good for you. That's how you survive. It's all about playing the angles. Yeah, it pissed him off, but then we sold the goods to the Yellow Lotus at a discount. In exchange, the Yellow Lotus kept them off our back. You don't have to beat up the big guy to win. You just have to make him step back so the other big guy sees off balance. Stand-up fights are for the Megas. We're about survival, just like everybody else in the shadows. Everybody else in the shadows. If I had a run the shadows counter, that would be a half point. What's your area of expertise? I'm a Decker. I used to be a company man for years, pushing code on their servers, smearing the little cyber pukes that would try to get into our secure systems. Made a pretty good living. Had my own place on the 48th floor in a corporate skyscraper. It's the kind of thing the Sims teach you everybody reaches for. The dream life. So what went wrong? I found out the company wasn't what I thought it was. Sure, they paid me well and kept me in creature comforts, but I accidentally looked over some misfiled reports while cleaning out a company data store. Turns out one of the company security riggers had gotten drunk and blabbed about some project or other being over budgeted and behind schedule. That's not good. It'd be a fireable offense, right? Mo purses his lips, his gaze going just for a moment. Well, I guess upper management was worried that info would hurt their stock ratings by a fraction of a point or two. So they fired the guy, with a 308 round right through his skull. I mean, he should have known, but that seems drastic. May only have been fractions of a point, but that was still tens of millions of new yen. I guess that went beyond a firing offense, directly into murder territory. What's worse, since I now knew about both the project and the murder, I could be next in the firing line. I knew I wasn't worth the expense to hunt down, as long as I kept my head down, so I came out here, looking for like-minded Deckers. Guess I ended up staying because I could get a semblance of community out here. I couldn't get that many other places. Do you know anything about the murders? I'm trying to stay as far away from it as possible. I'm not connected enough to hear anything important, and all the talk about monsters is just plain dark. I'm not afraid of monsters, but I don't want to get their attention. All I know is a couple months ago we had elders Nakamura, Yatundo, Gan, and Magpie, and now we don't. I've heard about Magpie. Sounds like she was kind of vicious. To be blunt, she's a hateful, shrewish little badger of a person. It was always her way or the highway. She'd butt heads at the other elders over damn near anything. The last fight she had was with Tong over something or other. I guess she ended up throwing some of his micro-drones into a deep fryer and threatening to kick his ass around the block. What was her line of business? Matrix gear. Her shop's called the Jack Point. Not very imaginative, I know. She always had the hottest programs, best chips, made some killer decks for anybody willing to pay her rates. Cost plenty of new yen, but she was one of the best in the business, at least in Hong Kong. If you want to know about her, you should talk to Zippy. He's one of the only people around here who got along with Magpie. You'll probably find him by the MTR station. He loves the steam bun cart over there. Alright. An imposing troll. Wow, that's a portrait. That's like somebody's tiefling OC. Stands in front of a stall overflowing with weapons of all sorts. Pistols, rifles, even brass knuckles overflow onto the rug around him. Ho there. You look like a woman who understands the value of self-defense. Breaker Hui? At your service. And I can promise you I can help you defend yourself. What do you say? You want to take a look? Show me what you have. We will look first. Doesn't sell very much. Well, I'm looking for information. Yeah? Tell me what you want. Maybe I can help you out. What are your impressions of the Wampoan Elders? And I can't say I associate much with them. They organize big trade deals with the big trade deals with the Loho Joa pirates, triads, legitimate businesses. They tell us if somebody's been blacklisted, dispense justice when someone breaks the rules. Beyond that, they leave us alone, and I leave them alone. Just not important enough to register on their radar. Do you know anything about Elder Magpie? Never met her, thank God. She ran with the Deckers mostly, since she dealt in chips and software. I heard she was hard to work with. I think the phrase I overheard was that she shrieked like a harpy with a fresh corpse. I don't know. You should ask Zippy, though. He's a sharp one with a deck, so he'd know her better than most. Aside from Tong, who slings the BTLs around here? The Red Spear Gang. They run up in here sometimes, but don't cause any trouble. Check out the parking garages south of here, though. They usually hole up in there. Step light, though. They don't know you and you cop an attitude, they'll put you in the ground. Funny thing, heard there was a shootout with some Hong Kong police in the garage a month ago. I was away in Beijing at the time, so I didn't see it directly. But everybody was talking about it when I got back. Why is that funny? Because we don't let the HKPF in here most times. We shoot at them if they try. Every time they come in here, it's bad for us, because they're always looking for a scapegoat. Why would the elders let them in? Nobody knows. You know anything about the murders? Just that the elders have been getting hacked apart. I've tried to stay away from it all. No sense painting the crosshairs on my own forehead, right? Troll strikes differently. I know it'll be important, and I aim to keep it that way. Okay. Getting plenty of stuff to investigate. Yeah, now we can talk to everyone. Okay, I guess we had to go get our background first. This dumpy looking man. Oh, it's a dumpy man! This is a real Ornstein schmo here. He's busily hawking a variety of grilled spherical treats of various sizes. Some are sold individually, some are skewered on sticks, and some are packaged up in sets of 4 or 6. A sign on the front of the cart reads, Kaida's 1 yen yatai. A cacophony of small trid screens are attached to the cart, each playing a different trid show. Interest you in some dango? Takoyaki? Maybe a nice nikuman. That's a pork bun with a Japanese twist. Any kind of tasty Japanese treat you can imagine, I've got it. Maybe some curry fish balls are your speed. Kaida will give you your heart's desire, providing that desire is on my menu. Sure, let me have some dango. Your wish is my command, good ma'am. Kaida deftly pulls one of the dango sticks out of the cart and drops it onto the grill. A small robotic arm slides out from the cart and begins turning the stick until the balls of rice flour to toasted brown color. Lifting them from the grill, Kaida dips the entire stick in a tub of sticky brown sauce before handing it to you. The snack is both a sweet and salty flavor, reminiscent of sesame seeds and soy. The balls inside are pleasantly warm and surprisingly chewy. A bit like eating raw dough, but without the attendant chalky taste. Kaida leans back, studying you intently. The Trid projections from his cart cause his face to be lit in a constantly shifting array of rainbow hues. So what brings you to Wampoa Garden, my friend? Somehow I doubt it's just the street food. I am looking into the killing of the Wampoan elders. Kaida shivers, wrapping his arms around his body. I've been hearing a lot about that. I haven't looked too closely, though. It's just none of my business, you know? What can you tell me about the people here? We're tech heads, deckers, riggers, trid pirates, everything in between. If I had to find this place, I'd say it's Asia's mecca for people like us. As for the elders, I can give you the basics. I'm a small fry, so we're not exactly on social terms. Ing's some kind of crazy tech witch. She summons up spirits and casts spells and works as the spiritual center of the tribe. She's a lot craftier than she seems, too. She has this mother of to everyone act going on, but I've watched her manipulate people into doing all kinds of stuff they wouldn't normally do. They thought it was their idea the whole time. I don't like that this is my only response. Magically, you mean? No, I don't think so. She's just really good with people. Ip's a killer. Addicted to cybernetic implants. He always has to have the newest and freshest gear. Funny thing is, I've never seen him fight. I kind of get the impression he's a coward. He'd let one of his buddies handle program to do it himself. All I know about Tang is that he loves drones and does a little decking. Frankly, I find him kind of boring. All he talks about is neural networks, dark knowledge, and the evolution of machine learning. Like I said, boring. God, what a fucking... These people are terrible. Well, him specifically, especially, but... what's with all the Trid screens? Kind of beams, gestures excitedly at them. You like them? I love Trid operas. Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Indonesian. Doesn't matter. This way I can watch all my favorite shows without missing a beat, and I can work at the same time. I would be very impressed if you could follow all that. Pirated Trid is my other business. I rip the streams in the Matrix, tap right into the corporate feeds, and resell them on chip out here. Kai's face falls a bit and his enthusiasm wanes. I wish I could pay the bills, but my food cart's a lot better at that. I don't know why, most of the other Wampoans seem to like Sim over Trid. I don't know what they're missing, though. One episode of Thousands Cranes of Autumns, and they'd be hooked for life. Just at the part where Orin has confessed her love to Takayama, but he's got to get his mech suit out to the front lines on Mars, so he can't be with her. Downright heartbreaking, I tell you. That sounds like an interesting show, alright. Eyes twinkling, Kaida leans forward in breathless excitement. Oh, you have no idea! 312 episodes, chronicling a noble mech pilot and the tumultuous love affair he has with a space station governor's daughter. The pathos, the majesty. The Battle of Language 1 spans 5 episodes just by itself. Sorry, Lagrange 1. Very different. For some reason, I guess it just didn't resonate with the wider public. I don't know why. It got 300 episodes, buddy. Who doesn't want to see a Trid show about giant flying robots, love, betrayal, and spies? Gotta stop myself before I get carried away. Something else you needed? You got any thoughts on these murders? Yeah, ignore them. He shrugs indifferently. I saw the crowd down at Tong Sensory Carnival earlier tonight, but I didn't know the guy very well. I'm a Trid fan. He liked The Sims. Not a lot of crossover between us. This man has a tired, world-weary demeanor about him. His eyes track your movements with a penetrating, critical precision. Something about him, the lines about his eyes perhaps, makes you suspect he's seen a lot of terrible things happen. He lifts a cup of cheap soy calf as you approach. Ah, oh, soy calf. Missed that from Dragonfall. Let me guess. Wow, look at that guy. This looks like a Paradox employee trying to look edgy. Let me guess. You're the freelancers the elders are paying to look into the murders around here. That's right. Who are you? Call me Demergo. I'm not one of the Wampoans, but I've been here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. Demergo drains the last of his soy calf in a large gulp. So what have you found so far? What's it to you? Professional curiosity. I used to be with the New York Police Department as part of their thaumaturgical research division. Part of the CSI branch, except I did the magical investigation while the other guys pulled prints and checked blood samples. Demergo tosses the soy calf cup towards the nearby garbage can. It bounces around the rim and rolls inside. When I hear about shit like this happening, I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know. Well, it seems like you're more cut out for this job than I am. Elder Ing asked me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee, though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money, either. He shudders, folding his arms across his chest. You see that stuff day after day, you pay a price. It eats away at you. You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day? To be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive somebody's death? Feel it going into your neck, pleading in the voice of a dead woman for her killer to spare you? These days, I'd rather interrogate the living. Thanks. What are you talking about? Hi, Daimon. Daimon says, Hi, Demerco. You seem to have cyber eyes, so why are you still wearing specs? This seems like the first thing cyber eyes should be good for. Fashion? I assume? I mean, that's like, why do people wear glasses when they could have contacts, right? I mean, I guess some people can't wear contacts, but... or don't want to deal with contacts, like me. Well, that sounds awful. Awful? It's more than awful. It's a goddamn nightmare is what it is. One I couldn't wake up from for a long time. Sometimes you have to cut and run, start fresh. At least now I can pick up my own jobs. So he's Will Graham. Do you really want to ask the optician about this? I'm just saying, obviously some people choose to have glasses for reasons that are other than uh medical. I can read objects. It's called psychometry. Psychometry. A little trick I managed to pick up. Don't really know how. I hold something, I can tell you what happened to it, who owned it, how it killed someone, if someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it'll tax your heart. So he's Will Graham by way of Vibe from The Flash. And before you ask, no, I'm not going to read anything you find. I already told Ing I didn't want any part of this. You want advice, I'll give you that, but I'm not getting drawn in further than that. So aside from that, is there anything I can help you with? Oh, they're magic eyes. Okay, fine, take it back. I mean, he could have cyber magic eyes. What can you tell me about the Wampoans? I don't know much. Even though I've been here almost 2 years, I'm an outsider. They don't really accept anyone who's not as much of a tech nut as they are. I'm just the crazy mage that lives down the road. Demergo pauses and looks off into the distance as he collects his thoughts. Ip's got some heavy-duty cyberware, basically an enforcer for the rest of the council. Doesn't seem to set much policy. Ing is a shaman that works with machine spirits. It's all a bunch of hokum if you ask me. Magic is magic. Whatever you want to call the source is fine by me, but don't ask me to believe in the great spirit of electronics. How are you doing, Daimon? As for everybody else, they tend to be an okay bunch. Bit strange, but that's fringe culture for you. They scrounge tech, rebuild it, sell it off. Some of them even have their own autofab shops. The stuff's pretty high quality, too. People from all over Asia come to shop here if they need something rare or unusual. Tight-knit little community, all things considered. And what do you know about the murders? They started a couple of weeks ago. Elder Gan was the first to go. That's when Ing asked if I could look into them. He was ripped apart, arms wrenched out of their sockets, skin flayed away with a razor-sharp knife. The rest have been the same. Whatever did it sure didn't care about it being a clean death. Demergo lowers his voice, leaning in towards so that only you could hear. The funny thing is, Hong Kong police force was out here a few weeks before that. Maybe a month ago, tops. I know that doesn't seem like much, but the Wampoans don't usually let the police in here. That by itself is odd, but it gets even stranger. The officers were loaded for bear, too. Big guns, heavy armor with NBC seals, the works. They went into the parking garage near here, and there was some kind of gunfight. Never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Wampoans chased them away. Why would they let the cops in and chase them away? That's exactly the kind of question you should be asking, and that the elders refused to answer when I asked. DeMarco shrugs. Go take a look for yourself if you want. Watch out, though. Gangs taking up residence in there, dealing drugs and BTLs. Call themselves the Red Spear. Not too violent if you don't push them, but be careful what you say. Tong wasn't afraid when he died. He was caught by surprise. DeMarco arches an eyebrow. That's not what I would have expected. With the amount of mess at each scene, the victim should have left behind a hell of a lot of fear and pain. Are you sure? Very sure. Tong died tonight, so the astral signature hasn't had time to fade. There was only a sense of perfunctory accomplishment. Then it sounds like it wasn't a crime of passion. Planned attack would have had that kind of resonance, in my experience. It's possible the gore shows to throw off anyone looking for the actual reason. DeMarco closes his eyes and starts to nod. Yeah. If I wanted to kill someone and get away with it, I'd try and point the finger at some kind of monster. DeMarco opens his eyes and smiles a thin, humorless grin. Basic investigation 101. It's usually the simplest explanation, but don't discount the other possibilities. Think the mess wasn't incidental? It's a possibility. Ask yourself this. If the mutilation happened after Tong's death, why would a killer perform that kind of ritual? Serial killers engaged in that kind of ritual don't feel perfunctory about it, in my experience. It tends to feel more like they're taking communion. It's a religious or sexual feeling most of the time. If this didn't feel that way, I don't think the killer is actually pathological. Tong was killed by a bladed weapon, a single strike to the base of the neck. That's a precision attack. Most knife fights end up with a lot of shallow cuts and blood over the victim and attacker alike. If Tong was killed by a single strike, he definitely wouldn't have seen it coming. And you can bet your last new yen that whoever killed him is highly skilled with a blade. That says to me the attack is either a professional hitman or a practiced serial killer. Could be both, too. Assassins don't tend to be the most empathetic people. DeMarco considers information for a moment before speaking again. Was the attack a thrust or a cut? It was a slash. Why? If the wound was a thrust, your attacker was using a knife of some kind. Anything over about 10 inches would be pretty hard to thrust with that kind of angle. The neck's too high for a longer blade. If it's a slash, you're looking at a sword or cleaver attack. Both of those are popular with the triads. They make an awful mess, sending messages that they're not to be trifled with. Thanks, buddy. Glad we've got an actual cop to ask about. So where's the warehouse? To the south. Investigate the parking garage. Get the key to Magpie Shop. Oh, there's a guy in there we can talk to. Oh, we can talk to all these people now. Okay, let's talk to all these people first. This woman. Oh, that's nice. This woman sports brilliantly hued hair that shifts colors, scintillating with every passing moment. She's powerfully built, natural athlete, or someone who works out a great deal. Notably, a large shotgun rests on an arcade cabinet next to her. She affords you a short glance as you approach. When she speaks, you note a peculiarly lyrical accent to her voice. Something I can help you with there, my friend? You're throwing off me game, and I'm trying to beat my best score. Take where Europa. I haven't seen one of these cabinets in years. Woman's mouth twists up into a wry grin. Hi, me neither. Managed to find this one near by accident, but I heard the music and thought, hold on there, Rainbow. You know that tune. After a few moments... Oh no, a gamer. Yep. Rainbow's game is suddenly over, her tank obliterated by a barrage of air-to-ground missiles. She hisses her breath in through clenched teeth. Piss on your ma. A right robbery that was. Should I have Fiona here to read this dialogue? Right then. Rainbow shakes her head again, turns to face you fully. It don't seem like them one poems. They're all a mite touched, yeah? Maybe you are too, but you don't advertise it like they do. What's your story? I'm looking into the murders that have been happening. Ah, that's some nasty work. Bodies hacked up, chunks bitten out of them. Make sure you're loaded for something big and ugly, that's for certain. Where are you from? I can't place the accent. Born and raised in Dublin. Oh. down on the banks of the Liffey. Spent most of my early life there, working security on secret spaces. You know, historical sites or undeveloped land. The Green Movement was big in those days. It was a bit like being a park ranger, but sure didn't beat some dead-end desk job. Spent a lot of time around County Dublin and Wicklow. I always loved animals, and I found out being a ranger put me in close to them. It was a good time, yeah? Making sure the budding new species like the bogies and centaurs didn't upset the ecology of Wicklow National Park much. Are the centaurs not sapient? That's a weird... Also kept the nastier bits, like the each uske from running amok across populated areas. Isn't that a demon horse? Aye, that's right. They're cannibal horses, basically. Nasty buggers that drag people into bogs and drown you. Well, then they're not cannibals. Sometimes people call them kelpies on account of the water plants they pop out of. Anyway, as I was saying, problem was I started to develop this wee knack. Just a small thing. I keep magic from working when I'm around. Spells don't go, spirits fall apart, and the paracritters get real feisty, yeah? To make things worse, this is around the time Liam O'Connor threw his coup, formed Tir na Nog. With all his fancy talk about elves and ancient magic, 'twas a bit scandalous to have a woman guarding ancient sites that wasn't just mundane, but also killed magic around her. So I got fired. You have a anti-magic field around you? That's useful. You're older than Tir na Nog? Bang on. Don't look a day over 25, do I? Rainbow flexes one arm, grinning widely. Aye, I'm Irish, not one of them noggins. Pack of punters, the lot of them. Always going on about their ancestral lands and the glory of the past and all that bullshite. I saw them kick dozens of old Irish families off their land just because their ears weren't pointy enough, or they didn't meet some stupid arbitrary criteria of old nobility. It was that kind of thing that brought back the IRA, just like the bad old times, days of the Troubles. Okay, good night, Mary. I thought you were gonna object to this lady. If she's not gay, I'll be disappointed. I'm guessing we won't find out, but that seems a reasonable... The Skyvers in the new tier didn't pay for the land they took. They just had a pack of bullies with guns. Rainbow scrunches up her face into a disgusted sneer, and Mock spits the ground. I've always been sympathetic to the little guy in a fight. They offered to pay for my help, so I said yes. Simple as that. So you became a terrorist? Fat, don't be so grammatic. They fixed me up with a cyber stitcher and gave me a lot of the kit I've got in me now, in exchange for going overseas to work for them. Smuggling, running guns, making contacts in Europe. Same kind of shite all revolutionary groups do. Seeing as how me own fam got kicked out of their house, I was glad to do it. I still do work for him these days, but there's a lot less of it. Lady D? Die? Crack down on distance, but good. What are you doing in One Poa Garden? Me? I'm a bit of a big game hunter these days. I get into strange places, look for some kind of paracritter I've not seen before, and then I put a bullet in it. Only the nasty ones, though. No point in hunting a talus cat or some such. It's only things like gargoyles, barghest, and whatnot. All the work I did with them in my youth does a good job of keeping me alive. I was out in Jakarta last year, hunting one of them Indonesian vampires. You ever heard of them? Call them Layak or Penanggalans, depending on who you ask. Their heads and guts come out of the body cavity, and they fly around like a giant messy pile of pasta. Rainbow bares her teeth and pantomimes floating around. It took me a solid 2 months to track her down, but I did. Once the job was done, I asked myself, okay, Rainbow, where's the best place in East Asia to find some action? So Hong Kong it was. All the key whatsits here mean a bigger concentration of odd critters than you usually find in a city. Been spending a lot of time down in the storm drains these days. I heard rumors of a rat king down there, where a mess of devil rats gets all tied together in some kind of big, awful rat beast. Haven't tracked it down yet, but I figure it's only a matter of time, yeah? She pets the barrel of her shotgun affectionately. I mean, that was interesting. That was useless, but interesting. I wish I got to ask her about her hair. I mean, I did have the option to, but I skipped over it, and then it didn't come back again. Wing K Quack. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to Quack. I never know how to say this. Atelier? Or Atelier? Atelier? Home of the finest clothing in Wampoa Garden. I am the owner, Master Tailor, Wing K. Quack. How may I serve you today? I didn't expect Wampoa Garden to have a tailor's in it. Many people don't. There's a mistaken impression that we Wampoans are only interested in technology and the Matrix. But even technologists need clothing, don't they? Many of us gravitate towards lines of work where added protection is required. I myself am a materials scientist, as well as a keen follower of fashion trends. Material science? Fiber related, of course, primarily aramid fibers, graphene composites, and dilatins. It affords me a certain unique perspective when designing clothing that is not only beautiful, but defensive as well. I specialize in high fashion body armor, similar to the kind crafted by Securitech or Vashon Island, but with a much more personal touch. Does she actually have cool armor? You can get a duster. You can get a cloth suit. That's kind of cool. I think they got rid of the clothing having stat mods, like they had in Daggerfall, so it's not, you can wear whatever you want. The owner of the shop barely looks up from his PDA while greeting you. His tone is one of immense boredom. Welcome to Min Vuong Matrix Materials, aka MVMM. What can I get you? Well, he doesn't, I guess he doesn't talk. He does sell drones. And some computers, which I don't need. And there's no one in the cafeteria. Why didn't you tell me about Elder Magpie disappearing? Why would we have? Her departure from the Wampoans isn't related to your investigation. It happened before the feelings began. I'm certain she's just off sulking somewhere. Her tone is proudly indifferent. No doubt she'll come waltzing back next month, all full of attitude that life dared to go on without asking her permission. If she does, we'll welcome her back. Despite our problems with her behavior, her skills made her extremely valuable. I've taken over maintenance of our Matrix infrastructure in her absence, but I'm nowhere near her level. The best I can do is ensure nothing breaks down until she returns. Pretty sure the earlier dialogue said it was it, but it also said he was obsessed with drones, so I'm pretty sure it was just a mistake in that dialogue. I'd like to take a look around her shop. Do you have the key? Yes, but there's a lot of sensitive equipment in there, including our community servers. We don't let anyone who's not one of the Wampoan elders in there. Why would you need to look around there? Listen, you wanted me to find a killer. If I'm gonna do that, I have to explore every possibility. Very well. Take the key and look around. Just don't break anything or shut the servers off. Was there anything else? Why did you let the HKPF into Wampoa Garden last month? Tang is taken aback by the question. For a long moment he says nothing. When his composure does return, he speaks deliberately and with great care. We generally don't let the police into Wampoa Garden, it's true. But in this case, we made an exception. The police were very polite and offered to look the other way over some of our deals with the Loa Joa pirates. They also made it clear that if we refused, they might not only take an interest in our deals with the pirates, they would call in the Special Duties Unit and force their way in. We've repelled the Hong Kong police force before when they've tried to push us around. We could probably drive off the Special Duties Unit as well, but the cost in blood would be too high. She shrugs non-committally. Since they weren't hunting a Wampoan, we saw no reason to refuse their request. Who were they here for? They didn't say, and we didn't ask. The HKPF isn't exactly forthcoming about their business, and we found that the less we know about their interests, the safer Wampoa Garden is. When you take an interest in the police, they return the favor. As far as I know, they went into the parking lodge, there was a gunfight, and the police never came out. More showed up a few hours later looking for their missing officers. We didn't let those in, though. We just delivered what was left of the bodies to them. Why didn't you let them in? We were willing to allow the group of 4 in because they asked politely. When the reinforcements arrived, there were over 30 of them. We couldn't risk the rest of the police setting up camp in our streets. It would have been a circus, disrupted our lives and business. Okay. What is this room? I guess it's locked up. Oh, it's a little cafe? So, let's see here. The Jack Point and find out what the Red Spear Gangers know. I guess this is the warehouse. I thought they said it was to the south, but I guess this map is not actually oriented. Dio? Or Rosa? Hi, Rosa. What's wrong? Oh, come here. You meowing? What's going on? Oh, come up here. What's wrong? Do you need to sit down with me? You tried your best, but you didn't manage to find out if Rainbow is gay. I'm guessing she doesn't have any other dialogue. I'm guessing that's it, so... That's far enough, lady. Woman hefts her weapon, tossing a nod toward the gangers behind her. This lot's our turf. If you're looking for a fix, you're welcome to trade. If you're not here for business, clear the hell out. Try and wander around in our turf, we're gonna have to air you out. So what do you say? Looking for a little pick-me-up? A little nitro to give you some pep? Maybe you want some chips, take that edge off. You want it? I got it. Can I look around this garage? Woman, are you deaf? What the hell did I tell you? No, you goddamn well can't wander around our turf. The ganger shakes her head, mumbling something about idiots with no memory. I'm on business for the Wampoan elders. You're only here because they tolerate you. They hear you're blocking me. Your ass is gonna get kicked all the way to Suen Wan. Ganger shifts nervously, glancing around her allies. Okay, I'm listening. What kind of business are you on? I'm investigating the murders with the other elders. The gunfight with the HKPF might be related. Alright. We only moved in here because all the Wampoans are too shit scared of monsters and ghosts to come back in. The elders told us it was alright if we moved in here. Seemed happy to have us camped out, honestly. Look around. Knock yourself out. Just stay out of the way of our business. Oh, we had to go through them too. Okay. Oh my. Dried blood and bullet holes pockmarked the floor, pillars, and walls of the parking garage. Judging by the amount of blood staining the floor, multiple people died here. To call the scene bloody would be to do it a disservice. This was a massacre of tremendous proportions. Well, there were only 4 cops, so... Look at this, Cade. Duncan points to several scratches on the floor and in the pillar. These scratches look like they're from a long-bladed weapon, like a sword or machete. That matches the wound on Tong's neck. Our killer must have fought the HKPF in here and cut them apart. With the number of bullet holes in the walls, cars around here, he must have been spraying wildly. Duncan checks the chamber of his assault rifle. I tell you what, I don't want to have to fight this maniac at close range. Maybe he was invisible? Dried blood and clots clog the grain. As you look closer, however, something catches your eye. An off-red color that doesn't match the hues of the gore around the drain. Bending closer, appears to be a small nugget of some kind. Oh, great. A red nugget. Fish the item out. The nugget, upon close inspection, is a chunk of some kind of synthetic ferroplastic. It's got ragged edges as if it was broken off of a larger object. A number of small markings are partially obscured by scratches. Brushing away some of the dust, you peer at the fragmentary bit of ferroplastic. Scratches and markings on the nugget look like Chinese, but despite how closely you look, you can't decipher their meaning. After a moment, you realize the reason. Not only are markings fragmentary, the language is actually Japanese. The characters are close enough to be familiar, but too different for you to read. Maybe an expert in armor or foreign languages could help. You know, I'm not sure who in Wampoa Garden speaks Japanese, but Winkei Kwok has a shop down in the Wampoa itself, by where we met the elders. If anybody around here would know armor, it'd be her. Did we talk to someone who spoke who knew Japanese? Can't remember. What happened in the fight here? As far as I know, some police showed up looking for somebody. They got in here, all of them got killed. Whoever they were after was long gone by the time we showed up. Used to be a lot of Wampoans living here. They all cleared out, muttering about ghosts and shit like that. You heard anything else about the murders? Not much, I tell you what. I tell you what, though. Got a guy named Kang, and he was down in the storm drain system last week. Something was moving down there. Big, too. Man-sized. But it wasn't speaking any language Kang understood. Kid beat feet back here as fast as he could. Dumbass dropped his storm drain key on the way out, though. You want to go looking for whatever it was, you'll have to get a new key from somebody else. Kang stole his from a city worker. Well, we know who else might have a key to the storm drains. This guy named Porter Lamb has got keys to pretty much everything. Yes, he's somewhere between a cop and a handyman. Yuan also mentioned some else woman with crazy-looking hair managed to scam a key. Said she hunted paracritters down there. Devil rats and shit. Oh, we will gonna go talk to Rainbow. I did find a deviant art picture of an unrelated Shadowrun character called Rainbow, and that the artist's mom had commissioned of the artist's stepdad character. Artist's mom had commissioned of the artist's stepdad character. Oh, okay, yeah. Some of these BTLs you're selling look an awful lot like they came from Tong's shop. Well, let's actually see what she has first. Just drugs. We can't actually buy the BTLs. Yeah? So what? Why do you care? So if he stole these from Tongs, maybe he saw something I can use in my investigation. Yeah, I guess that's fair. It's like this. Broken Thumb Yuan was walking down the street, sees this guy go into Tong's joint right at closing time. Tall guy, hunched over. Had this shitty gray rain poncho draped over him. Now, Yuan figures that was weird as hell, so he posts up and waits. Figures the guy will come out soon, because Tong's closing up shop. Nothing for 15 whole minutes. Guy comes out, hustles down the street with nobody saying boo. I figure he's waiting for an ebb in the crowds. Yuan sees some blood smeared on the door, though, so he goes to check it out. Inside, total carnage. But you know what? Tong's not going to be using his gear anymore, so to hell with it. Yuan jacks the lot of it. Business is business. You're damn right it is. That's all I know. The guy had to be the killer. Tall, gray rain poncho, hunched over, also smart about how he came and went. Alright. So, we'll need to talk to... Where did he go? Oh, he's still here. Hey there, need anything else? Can you tell me anything about Elder Magpie? One point snorts, shrugging his shoulders. That she was a bitch? Never met anyone as deliberately contrary as her? There's not much to say. Nobody wanted to hang out with Magpie. Even though she was the newest elder, she acted high and mighty around everyone. She'd block deals and argue against Nakamura and Ning just because she could. Why was she so contrary? It was just her nature. She loved fights and gossip. Any chance to cut somebody else down, she'd take it. I guess I always figured she had some deep-seated insecurities and covered it up by attacking other people. Do you have a key to the storm drainage system? Sure. Why do you ask? Drop a gun down a grate or something? Following up a lead on the killer. In that case, take the damn key. You have to forgive me if I don't want to go down there with you. I guess we should have gone back talk to Rainbow about it. I want to talk to just talk to Rainbow more. Porter peels an antique Yale-style key off of a key ring and hands it to you. Knock yourself out, woman. There's an entrance up by the Jade Mountain restaurant. Can't miss it. Let's see if we can still talk to her. Oh, she seems cool. Do you know what kind of armor piece this piece is from? Perhaps. Let me see it and I'll tell you what I can find out. She holds the armor piece up to her eye, taking out a jeweler's loop? I know what that must be referring to, but I didn't know what the actual word for it was. To look at it more closely. Japanese markings. I don't recognize all of them, but the first one is Renraku, fairly recognizable to anyone who's used to seeing the name in Hanzi. The composition appears to be high-density ferroceramics, probably boron carbide with the interwoven bioaramid mesh. The staining on the edges suggests to contain pockets of silica suspended in polyethylene glycol, similar to the commercially sold gel pack technology. This armor could have withstood significant amount of impact force. Even standard 7.62mm rounds wouldn't have had much of a chance of penetrating it. What could penetrate it? High velocity rounds, the tungsten carbide penetrator would be the most common. This is the kind of thing armor-piercing, discarding sabot rounds are designed to defeat. A die-coated melee weapon could do it as well, but there wouldn't be the kind of splintering at the edge. Same case with EX explosive rounds. We'd see spalling on the back side. She hands the armor piece back to you. Whoever shot this off, the owner, came loaded with the right kind of weaponry to get the job done, that's for certain. You don't carry that kind of ordnance around unless you're sure what you're facing. It's just too expensive for common carry. Well, thanks. This is a good quest for opticians. He's got himself a new cup of soy coffee. He must run on that stuff. As you approach, he lifts it in salute. Any new developments you might help with? Whoever fought the police in the garage did it at close range, with a blade. That's definitely unusual. There are a lot of people in Hong Kong who could fight with a blade, but not many of them could take 4 police officers and win. That's a losing fight for even the best gangers out there. What were you looking for? They're no common killer. Sounds like your killer is the same one the police fought. That's certain. There's nobody around here that can go toe-to-toe with 4 HKPF heavies at close range and come out on top. At least not any with a penchant for blades. Find whoever's good with a sword and has a grudge against the elders. You got your killer. Oh yeah. Hey, can you tell me anything about this piece of armor? I thought that there was someone who could speak Japanese. I was like, he watches all the Japanese trends. He must speak Japanese. Kind of shoots you a quizzical look. I own a street food cart. What makes you think I know anything about armor? Is it made of rice flour or something? I was hoping you could translate some Japanese on it. Oh, in that case, I actually can help you. Let me see. He turns the chunk of armor over in his hands, peering at it closely. After a moment, he hands it back. It says Renraku Kagaku Kabushiki Gaisha. It's the Japanese name for Renraku Applied Sciences, the materials research branch of Renraku Asia. Where the hell did you get this anyway? I think it came from the person killing the Wampoan elders. Kaido's expression turns dubious. I don't know much about the megas, but this seems like pretty rare armor to find on a serial killer. I don't think off-the-shelf armor has this research mark, and it seems pretty high quality. You'd have to be well connected to get something like this. What do you think about that, Demergo? No. Okay. Storm drains. I don't think we want to go down there yet. We've got... It's interesting how it feels like in this game they're trying to have a lot of different quests that aren't just combat. I mean, there were some of them, you know, there was a lot of... I feel like in Dragonfall a lot of the quests just kind of ended up in combat, you know, regardless, to a substantial degree. Oh, what's over there? Oh, that's the parking garage. Which is fine. I don't think I ever really had a problem with that. You know, it makes sense. I like your Shadowrunners, your hired mercenaries. And it's kind of like it also feels kind of weird that they're having you do all these other things that don't really feel like Shadowrunners should necessarily be doing. But it's still, I mean, it's interesting. It's I think it feels like they clearly wanted to do more variety in this game. And I think it's mostly they've been interesting quests. The bin is full of assorted chips, peripherals, and add-on modules for cyberdecks. They don't seem to be arranged in any coherent fashion and are spread across the felt surface. Search through the bin. Sift through the display case, search for anything that might prove interesting. Isabel peers past you into the bin as you search. That's interesting. There's a lot of storage memory, I/O handlers, and active memory in this bin. I'm not seeing any MPCP hardware, response increased chips, or anything related to the hot shit decking Magpie was supposed to be into. In fact, you couldn't even build a full deck with this. Without the MPCP, it'd just be a glorified comlink. What do you think it means? Well, if I had to guess, I say somebody's cleaned her out. MPCP, response increase, biofeedback filters and all that. They're easy to move, expensive, and highly illegal. All the rest of the crap is good, but it's nothing you can pick up at any electronics shop. You have to know what you're looking for, though. Only a good decker would know what they're seeing. Could Magpie have taken them with her? Isabel gestures to one of the other displays. A pair of smile cyberdecks sit inside the locked case. I guess so, but if she did that, would she leave the completed cyberdecks? No, I think this was theft. Well, there's only a couple of deckers here. The front of the server's case hangs open, the inner machinery quiet and without power. Clipboard is stuck to the side by a piece of duct tape. Its paper is filled with a long list of programs and their prices. A quick glance over the program sheet reveals names like Bugs, 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 and Black Hammer. Undoubtedly, this was Magpie's attack program storage machine. Somebody's removed the drives. Sure wasn't Magpie. Here, look. She gestures to the innards of the open server. Near the back, a solitary red light blinks. The main drives are disconnected properly, but it looks like she modded the server to have a backup drive with its own battery-based power supply. If it was Magpie, she'd have taken that too. Crap. This is a Fuji XP1000. It looks like the battery power ran out a while ago. XP1000s are constant write drives. They're dirt cheap and have a ton of capacity, but if they run out of power, they lose their data. We're not going to be able to get anything off the drive. Let's look at the bathroom first. Search Magpie's bathroom. There's not much in here. Toothbrush, toilet paper, some hairpins, a collection of cheap makeup. Combination bath shower unit, however, has minor flakes of a dry, reddish substance near the drain. Blood. Dried blood. 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 And bits of sick. Prying open the drain cover, it looks like quite a bit of it was shed as well. Shit. Maybe Magpie didn't take a trip after all. With that amount of blood, I'm guessing someone killed her quietly and then drained her body in the bath. Make it cleaner to relocate. It doesn't seem to match the killer's other scenes. I'm thinking there's a lot more going on with these murders than we were initially told. First, they don't even mention Magpie to us. Now it looks like she's been killed. Something's not right here, Cade. Let's not mention this to the elders. If they're hiding anything, they may start cleaning their tracks better. Rainbow took the gear to make a sick gaming rig. Magpie's desk is the kind of messy most people in the associate with Rat's Nest, Hoarders, and Deckers. Okay. I mean, if it includes Deckers, then that's like all of these people. The surface of the desk is littered with cigarette butts, half-finished cans of soy calf, and scraps of electronics. A towering pile of empty instant noodle bowls sits next to it. Their sides are blazoned with honest wongs. Instant old-time Lamian depict a line of top hat-wearing caterpillars dancing with canes. Wow. Sweet mother of God. Duncan recoils, a revolted expression spreading over his face. Deckers, man. I don't get it. Why the hell wouldn't you pick up here for yourself if this is where you work? Isabel shrugs differently. She was probably busy. When you get in the zone, you have to keep at it. It's just how it goes when you're in the Matrix. She probably had a timer in her deck to remind her to toggle back to meat space and eat. Duncan looks at you, giving you a pointed glare. If I ever have to get in the zone that bad, promise me you'll punch me in the head. This place is gross. That's what you find gross about this dungeon. Search the desk. You gingerly root around the desk, doing your best to avoid the more disgusting piles and spills. It isn't easy. The desk drawers are stuffed to overflowing with receipts, cigarette packs, optical chips, cables. Most of the contents are boring, useless, and disgusting. While searching one of the bottom drawers, however, a low-quality tin lockbox catches your eye. Someone has pried the latch off, leaving a ragged hole where the lock should be. The interior of the box has several sleeves storing key cards, all of which are empty. A small note is taped to the interior of the box. Spare storeroom keys. The door is in the rear of Mrs. Yang's restaurant. Do not lose these. Use only if I am not available to open the stockroom. A stockroom, huh? So who broke the lock to get the keys out? Probably whoever cleaned out Magpie's equipment. I'm thinking you're right. Whoever tore the latch off the box was in a hurry. Any of the elders could have cracked the mag locks without much trouble. Most regular Wampanoans could too. It seemed like somebody was tossing the place and wanted to get in and out as fast as possible. If someone was after Magpie's gear, her stockroom would be a gold mine. Magpie's shop is missing a lot of gear. Know anybody who might be fencing it? In Wampoa Garden? No way. Most people are too shit scared of Magpie to pull that, and I definitely recognize anything of hers. She watermarked every program and engraved every chip. I wanted people to know where the good stuff came from. There's not a lot of places to hide that kind of gear around here. We're all packed pretty tight, and this place gossips like a mahjong parlor at tea time. If I were you, I'd ask any other outsider types you could find if they've heard something. Nobody local would risk bringing Magpie's ire down on them, or the rest of the Vampoans. We might cheat other people, but we don't steal from each other. Anybody who gets caught doing that would get kicked out, or worse. Okay. Well, the outsiders are Cop and Rainbow, I think. So... Oh, did you hear that yelping cat? That was in the game, not, Nope. Can't ask Rainbow about it. Outsiders. Oh, I guess we can... I guess the gang? I don't know who else is considered an outsider. You guys are all regular Wampoans. No, it's not. I do not want to go out. I'm gonna talk to him. Fucking, it did it again. Let me talk to the man. Alright. I didn't think there would be anything, but... Well... There's no outsiders to talk to about it. Guess we go into the sewers. Oh boy. Disgusting pile of stinging human remains. Smells strongly of blood and the first stages of decay. The arms, legs, and organs here are heaped together like stacked firewood, leaking blood and gore across the floor. The parts contained therein appear to have been sliced away from the parent body, rather than torn or bitten. Judging by the clean edges of the cuts, the blade used to sever those parts was extremely sharp. This is a whole world of messed up, Cade. Isabel takes a moment to suppress a retch. You think the killer stashed these here? They're stacked. They've been organized. This is our killer, alright. Looking closer at the pile, one part stands out. It's a severed forearm that's covered in tattoos. Words in a Slavic language and a shining lighthouse adorn the forearm, and ring-like images are inked on each finger. On the back of the hand, there's a skull inside a square. This arm belonged to a Vor. These are criminal tattoos. The lighthouse shows he tried to escape from prison, or planned to. The words say, "All police are dogs." Dogs? I guess that's... Dogs are better. That skull inside a square means he served a prison term for robbery once. The skull inside a square means robbery? What's a Vor? A Vor is a thief. The Vori V. Zakone is the name of the organization. Thieves in law. They have strict codes and police their own. Oh, it's a thieves guild. But they don't sever arms and leave them in a pile of gore. Despite the darkness, you see something glittering at the edge of the drain. Looking closer, it appears to be a necklace chain of some kind. It's becoming caught in the drain's grate, narrowly avoiding falling down the deep pit. Take the necklace. Lifting the necklace out of the drain, you turn it over in your hand. It's a simple silver pendant on a chain. The silver pendant depicts a long-tailed bird in flight. A magpie. Oh, hi guys. Just as you round the corner, your voice is speaking just loudly enough for you to make out coherent sentences. Speakers are definitely not local. They speak with a slight Slavic accent, and their clothing is heavily armored. Around them are a number of crates and boxes, all mostly filled. It looks like the group is packing up. Yaroslav says the boat will be ready tomorrow morning. He's gotten everything arranged with the port authority. We'll move the goods to his warehouse, and he'll handle loading them onto the ship. We can get paid right then and there. York spits on the ground. I'll be glad to be done with this filthy place. I will too. I hate having to hide in these damn drains. It stinks down here. You can hear the devil rats running down the walkways. It's a mess and it's disgraceful. You shouldn't have to put up with this bullshit. And Alexander still isn't back from his little trip. We'll have to leave him behind if he doesn't get back soon. I know, Galena. Till Andre says we're in the clear from the triads, we can't be seen with the goods on the street. They find us, we go back to Vladivostok and sausage casings. Those Red Dragon Mudaki don't screw around when it comes to protecting their turf. Who knows? Maybe Alexander was stupid and they caught him. Either way, we'll have to lug this crap through the drains for a few clicks. Several boxes near the two women bear a distinctive label, a magpie in flight, the same emblem you saw stamped on Maggie's equipment in her shop. The orc woman sniffs the air suspiciously, and her eyes dart toward the dark tunnel you stand in. Before you have a chance to get out of sight, she locks eyes with you. The orc lifts her chin as she regards you, cracking her knuckles. What have we here? A curious little pest comes looking for things that don't concern her. What do we do with pests, Galena? Galena puts her hand on her shotgun's barrel. We break them, Vasilisa, and then we hammer a spike through each of their throats so anyone who sees their bodies knows not to meddle in our affairs. I suggest you stay where you are, pest. When Poe and Elders know I'm here, you start a fight, you're gonna have every drone and cyber junkie on those streets crawling up your ass. Oh, APAD, not quite as catchy, yeah. Some of the cockiness goes out of the Russian woman's eyes. She shifts back and forth nervously, shooting a glance at the orc. Finally, she lifts her shotgun, sighting along the barrel. Think we're afraid of those little worms? Think we're afraid of you? Don't make me laugh. You could be out of here before they ever realize you're missing. Think those crazy chipheads will give a shit about what's happened down here? I don't think so. Thank you for the follow, Nubasaur. Duckett sneers at them, spitting on the ground. Make a move, shithead. Give me a reason to put you down. You thugs think you're so hard. I kill trash like you every damn day. You factually do not. I don't care what you're doing down here, or what you've stolen. I just want to find the person murdering the Wampoan elders. You think I give a shit about what you're doing down here? None of that concerns me. So why the hell should we let you live? Andre is obviously the vor here. You're just enforcers, and he doesn't want a scene while you're in Wampoa Garden. Vasilisa shoots Galena a sideline glance. She's right, Galena. Andre would have our heads if we had to break cover before the shipment was ready. Shit. Galena lowers the shotgun, though her posture remains wary. You don't care about what we're doing? I have a job to do. This is incidental. So what do you want from us, then? You took Magpie's keycards, didn't you? Yeah, we did. Alexander took one earlier. He said he wanted to sweep the stockroom, see if there's anything worth stealing in it. She tosses you a keycard. Here, we don't have time for this. We had to move the gear. You want to play detective? Go right ahead. Is there anything you can tell me about the murders that I might not know? You think we get out a lot? I wouldn't have even known there were murders if I didn't bother to come out to get some Soykov last week. It's none of our business. It isn't our problem, and I like it that way. I wonder if we would have gotten any loot from killing them. Alright, that's another storm drain. So where is the... Over here. I can't get over that guy's portrait. Despite the table's crude construction, an artfully laid meal awaits the owner. Several small dishes are filled with pickled vegetables, while a larger plate is arranged with long slices of raw meat. The meat is a pale, pinkish white, like raw pork, and is covered in a light soy marinade. This really is the Hannibal quest, isn't it? Any thoughts about the pile of severed limbs next door? I had the option to tell them about that, and I skipped it, and it did not come back up. Since that is presumably the guy they were talking about that, ran off or was out doing stuff. And they're like, why isn't he back yet? Poking at the raw meat, you discover that it's surprisingly tender. What's more, it has the faint aroma of marinade, as if deliberately prepared. We are not eating the meat. The strange meat. I know what that meat is. Do not eat. Yeah, like... I watched all of Hannibal. I don't need this. The box is packed full of odds and ends. It nearly overflows with a collection of knickknacks, souvenirs, and assorted personal effects. There's no rhyme or reason to the collection of items. They appear to have been thrown in haphazardly. Among the contents are charms from various temples, a wooden mask, and a paper fan. Let's examine the mask. The wooden mask is extremely light. It's been painted a pale white, and the surface is almost as smooth as porcelain. Delicate features and lifted eyebrows are matched with bright red lips and deliberately carved teeth. The teeth have been stained a deep black. Examine the charms. The small charms are square cloth packets, each approximately 1 inch wide and 3 inches tall. They come in a wide variety of colors and are embroidered with characters for prosperity, peace, wealth, and protection. Inside each appears to be a folded paper prayer or fortune written in Japanese. Examine the paper fan. Unfolding the fan, you tilt it up toward the light to examine it. The image depicts an East Asian city from the 19th century or earlier. Curved roofs at sunset beside a deep blue river. 2 ships sail down the river, which is in turn spanned by a long wooden bridge. In the foreground, laborers carry buckets along the shore as a man on horseback rides in the opposite direction. In the distance, a pair of large red buildings dominate the city skyline, 1 large temple hall, and a 5-tiered pagoda. As you step away from the box, you hear a slight click in the distance. The sound of the door's latch shutting. You are no longer alone in the storeroom. Oh, look at that guy. Standing before you is a man clad in heavy armor and bearing a katana on his hip. His skin is an ashen gray, his eyes dead white. His teeth are jagged and appear quite sharp. This is no man. This is a ghoul. Well, look at that guy. Look at that ugly motherfucker. This ghoul's blind eyes. The ghoul's blind eyes search back and forth as it regards you. It cannot see you, but you have a sense that it knows exactly where you are at all times. Hired gun. No doubt brought to bear against me by the Wampoan elders. A means by which they can lift the curse plaguing them. I salute your tenacity, but I wonder, will you hear me out before raising your weapon to kill me? I was prepared for the katana, I was not prepared for the samurai armor. We knew he had special armor that was Japanese. I don't know I don't know why it's samurai armor, but you don't seem interested in eating me. Yes, I'm not only talking, I'm reasoning as well, and since you have not attempted to kill me, your own higher faculties are engaged. I am a curiosity to you. The ghoul bares his teeth, breath rasping over them as he inhales. You wish to know not only what I am, but what I have done. As for who, you may call me Gaichu. I know you are. You're the one killing the Wampoan elders. You are correct. I've killed all the Wampoan elders to date, though only Elder Magpie was according to my initial plan. I regret the deaths of the other elders, but it was necessary. Explain yourself. The affair began simply enough. As you may suppose, I am not someone who could be seen in public without great risk. Wampoa Garden is an excellent place to hide. No police or triad presence, and minimal interest in things that lurk in the shadows. Unfortunately for me, Elder Ing discovered me through communion with her spirits. Rather than kill or chase me away, she came to me with a proposition. Oh, she hired you. Ing and the other elders were having problems with one of their number. An elder named Magpie had been holding many of their plans hostage, and would not budge. They could not remove Magpie, however, because her services were too useful to Wampoans at large. She offered me payment to dispose of Magpie, and I accepted. Wu shoots you a sidelong glance, tusks bared as he grits his jaw. Why the hell are we talking to this thing, Cade? It's a goddamn ghoul, and you know what they're like. I don't. I don't know the setting. Really? What, pray tell, am I like? All teeth and claws and bad manners, I expect? Gaichu's tone is amused, despite the harshness of his rasping voice. Really? You want to crack jokes, cannibal? Wu takes an involuntary step forward, raising his rifle. You're the kind of monster that devour a family just because it's convenient. Remember the 162s, Cade? It's just like them. The 162s were a gang, Duncan. In the Barrens. Like that makes a bit of difference. Go on then. Talk to the monster. But I'm keeping my finger on the goddamn trigger. Well, that's fine. We're probably gonna have to kill him anyway. I believe that you were speaking of the Elder's plans to have me kill Magpie. Surely you must be a little curious about that. You didn't clean up all of her blood. I found some in her drain. Ah, unfortunate. I had thought I was careful enough. Having it on my hands must have obscured my sense of smell enough that I missed the last remnants in the drain. I disposed of Magpie's body by emptying the blood in her bathroom. Then I cut her up into more portable pieces. Those were placed in a plastic tarp, which I took to the storm drains and hid. Gaichu nonchalantly waves a hand, his tone flat and unconcerned. It's unfortunate, but my survival depends on the consumption of raw metahuman flesh. Letting such nourishment go to waste would be a foolish error. Why kill the other elders then? I contacted the elders, not in person, of course, and they arranged to exchange payment. I assumed that since the job was done, Ing would be a woman of her word. Baring his teeth, Gaichu hisses his next words across clenched teeth. I was mistaken. I arrived at the nearby parking garage the elders had told me about. They'd cleared out the other Wampoans under some pretense, though I'm not sure what ruse they used. The elders never showed up. Instead, several members of the Hong Kong police force arrived. They were more heavily armed than usual, so I suspect they knew something of my nature. I saw scarring on the concrete from bullets and a blade. You killed them with a sword? And my hands, yes. My blindness precludes the use of ranged weapons. Unfortunate, since I was an excellent shot before I became infected. But my skills in grappling and kenjutsu have only increased. A battle of swords is a clash of souls. Mine was stronger than theirs, and they perished. A betrayal of this sort cannot stand. Not only was I not paid for my time and effort, the Wampoan elders treated me like a common animal, and I am so much more than that. Reputation is everything, and I had none. I had hoped to build a network of contacts so that I'd be able to continue finding work, but with that treachery, my hopes were dashed. I decided to become the monster that they feared. One by one, I have eliminated them. They know how to contact me. Could have ended their nightmare at any time by making amends. I would have asked for more money, but I would have ceased my hunt. Yet, they did not. Instead, they contacted you, no doubt asking you to eliminate me where the police had failed. So I ask you, what now? What will you do? Will you attempt to finish what the Wampoan started? Or will you treat me with the same humanity I have shown you? I mean, you are a murderer for hire, but I suppose I'm also a murderer for hire. Did you eat the elders? Some of them, not all. My condition requires that I consume raw metahuman flesh. I don't require a great deal to survive, perhaps 3 or 4 pounds per week. Consequently, there is vastly more supply than demand. Is this from your armor? Ah, yes. I felt a ragged edge on one shoulder plate. I assume it was removed when one of the police officers shot me with his rifle. The hazards of war include unkempt attire, unfortunately. Why do you think the elders would have you killed instead of paying you? Any number of reasons. They are notorious cheapskates, and always try to save money when dealing with outsiders. Could be their natural inclination towards profit. They may regard me as subhuman and therefore unworthy of respect. Could be that they felt I was too dangerous to allow to live. Could even be that they simply did not like me. The net result is the same, however. They reneged on a deal we brokered and attempted to have me killed. A message must be sent. Blood must be paid. as they have hired you to kill me. They've obviously not learned their lesson. If I let you live, what would you do? Kill the rest of the elders. Anyone else they send to exterminate me. It's a matter of survival. Should I ever have the opportunity to work freelance again, potential employers need to understand the price of betrayal. These murders are my curriculum vitae in revenge. Wow! That's a line. These murders are my curriculum vitae in revenge. Is it Vita? I mean, I guess the Latin pronunciation is probably completely different from the English pronunciation, so. Okay. I kind of just want to kill him still, because I want to get paid, and he's not, like, noble. He's still a murderer, regardless of the, like, I don't care about the ghoul thing, other than that he does need to eat people, but, I mean, there's no dead people around. Oh. Oh. I was wondering if you had any work for a ghoul samurai. My reference is, well, actually, I killed all my previous employers. That's a good point. Come and work with me. I can be your face. Can we recruit him? Recruiting him is bonkers. I guess we have to do that. Oh, where you going, Dio? Come and work with me. I can be your face. Duncan's also got to be pissed. I don't know if that's a positive or a negative. This seems like a surefire recipe for hijinks. I was all ready to be like, well, you know, if we just let him go versus killing him, like, killing him gets us more money probably, and it's not really gonna matter. But I'm like, oh, well, that's just like, we have to do that. We have to bring him along. A curious offer. And what are the elders? Will you allow me the satisfaction of killing them? I want to see what they had to say first. I would counsel you not to believe their words, but you have the sound of one who is wary as a matter of course. Very well. Let us wait until a bit later in the night. Most pedestrians will be off the street, and it will be easier for us to approach the Wampoa without being noticed. Sounds like a good plan. Excellent. Great. So we're just gonna stroll in here to the elders with him with us. Like, what's up? I found the killer. Oh, there they are. In a more defensible position. Rather than standing out in the open. Also, sadly, I'm guessing our... Yeah, they're all... Rainbow's not here. As you approach, Elder Ing's eyes widen. Her mouth falls open and the veins on her neck bulge. What are you doing? You brought this thing into our home. Quick, kill it before it kills us. Porter hefts his pistol warily, but does not aim it at anyone. Yeah, I have to say, this isn't a good idea. Why the hell is a ghoul in here, and why is it wearing armor? Calm yourselves. I am not an it, and your elders know this intimately. Gaichu bares his teeth in a rictus grin as he turns to facing Good evening, Eldering. I can smell your fear, and I'm glad of this. It means you are learning the price of betrayal. Whoa, whoa. What the hell is going on here? Can someone explain to me why the school is talking? The elders have been lying to the rest of the Wampoans. We would never lie to the Wampoans. Our role is to protect this community, not to lie to it. What proof do you have to back up your claims? Porter nods at the elders, looking back to you with a wary expression. I'm interested to hear what kind of evidence you have to support this theory, Cade. As far as I can tell, this monster killed Tong and the others, and that makes him a threat that should be eliminated. The elders hired Gaichu to kill their magpie and make it look like she disappeared. You believe this vermin? This creature that feasts on metahuman flesh, that kills and dismembers our tribesmen? You are a naive and foolish woman if that's the case. She spits on the ground in front of Gaichu. What proof do you have that Magpie is dead? Please. In matters where an elder is accused of breaking our law, the other elders generally judge them. In matters where all of them have been accused, I am authorized to act as a judge. Really? Are you convenient? I'm glad they have a rule for that. Make your case, Shadowrunner. There was a large amount of blood in her shower drain. So what? Perhaps she cut herself and washed the cut off. Perhaps you are mistaken about it being blood. You're simply guessing as to what happened. That's true, it's a guess. And even if it is her blood, that doesn't prove that the elders hired the school to kill her. Porter gives Elder Ep a sidelong glance. The elders have always protected Wampoa Garden to the best of their ability. I found Magpie's necklace in the storm drains. Porter takes a moment to examine the necklace. He nods at you. I'm glad they have something in their bylaws to cover this situation. Yeah. Like, really? Seems kind of odd for an organization. Like, wasn't this written by weren't the laws written by the elders? Would they really write a situation that, like, in case all elders are accused? That is definitely Elder Magpie's. If you found it in the storm drain, that's suspicious, but hardly proof on its own. Of course it's not proof. The number of things lost down storm drains in Hong Kong must number in the tens of thousands per year. While unusual, it's hardly evidence of foul play. She hasn't been seen in a month. Not by anyone. She wouldn't just disappear like that. That may be unlikely, but it's hardly impossible. You haven't established that the elders were involved. All you've done is make suppositions about it. What proof do you have that we hired and betrayed this creature? I won't sit by and listen to idle accusations without any kind of concrete evidence to back it up. What about the fight with the Hong Kong police force? How do you mean? What does that have to do with the elders and the gruel? The evidence in the garage points to a fight with someone using a sword. We allowed the police into Wampoa Garden because they were hunting someone. They never told us who or why they were looking for their quarry. It didn't have anything to do with us. Gaichu hisses through clenched teeth, addressing Porter Lamb. I was only in the garage to collect payment from them. The ordinary residents were warned of the HKPF's arrival, and were gone by the time I arrived. That's suspicious, I admit. Porter regards the elders for a long moment. It still doesn't prove the elders knew it was the ghoul. This is a piece of Gaichu's armor I found in the garage. The markings on it prove it. You point the armor's markings to Porter, and he nods with some satisfaction. This is from his armor, definitely, but how does it prove that the elders knew of the ghoul's existence? The police officers were abnormally armed and armored, with much heavier gear than a normal patrol. They were armed with armor-piercing, discarding sabot rounds. That's hardly standard issue. Lesser weapons wouldn't have broken that armor plate. Okay, so they told us the armor, or the lady told us, the armor was special gear from, like, a Japanese design lab that wasn't even on the market. How the fuck did he get it? If all they were looking for was a common fugitive, why be prepared for a fight of that magnitude? Obviously they knew what they were searching for. That doesn't mean we did. You Wampoans don't allow police inside the area. Why make an exception this time? The police were polite and asked our permission to enter. They were hunting a non-Wampoan. That was reason enough for us to allow them in. Porter considers for a moment, then shakes his head. That doesn't add up. Why would the police ask us for entry now? They've never been polite before. They always tried to force their way in here. It just doesn't ring true to me. Did you ask them to come in order to hunt down the ghoul? Preposterous! Porter, you know what our community is like. We wouldn't lie over something like this. The ghoul has been lying the entire time, trying to cover his tracks. He's still brutally murdered several elders. That's true. Those murders were vicious and cruel. Porter fixes you with a hard stare. I don't see any way to explain that away. The school is a monster, probably killed Tong and the others. Tong's body was a mess, true, but he died quickly from a sword blow to the neck. I struck Tong down with a single blow from my sword. The message made of the body was to send the elders a message, but I had no desire to make Tong suffer. At any time, Aang and the others could have made amends and the killings would have ended. Instead, they hired a Shadowrunner to kill me. It's not about cruelty. It's about sending a message. That's not what I would have expected looking at the body. You killed him before you dismembered him. That's right, and I killed the other elders in a similar fashion. There was no cause to prolong their suffering. The messages were the living elders, not the dead. If the elders wished to treat me like a monster, I would terrorize them like one, until they paid reparations for their mistake. Come on, you can't possibly believe this crazy story. It's absolutely insane. Tong wasn't tortured. There was no astral residue of pain or fear. Didn't even feel the blow. That's correct. I struck a single blow while his back was to me. His death was instant. Regrettable that he had to die for your follying, but necessary to protect my reputation. She glares at Gaichu in stony silence before addressing Porter. You cannot believe what these people say. They are not to be trusted. And even if this is true, he still killed Tong. Porter looks back at her, his expression flat and without emotion. Maybe so, but a monster would not take Tong's suffering into account. He may be a killer, but he's not heartless. The scene of Tong's murder, like the others, was a deliberate sham. It was made to look more horrific than it was. I believe you. The blood smeared on the walls, the removal of his skin. That's a scene designed to evoke horror, not the scene of an actual fight. Elders, what do you have to say in response? This is a farce. We have dedicated ourselves to protecting the Wampoan tribe and everyone who lives in Wampoa Garden. Do you really believe outsiders and monsters are our word? We who have only tried to end the killings? You've been duped, Porter. You and this Shadowrunner. I concur. Porter, you know me. You know the kind of person I am. And I wouldn't be party to the killing of another elder. I can't believe we're even entertaining the notion that we have to defend ourselves. We should be disposing of the school instead. Tang narrows his eyes at you, hissing. If you think I'll forget this, you're surely mistaken. Sorely mistaken. I will not tolerate this kind of insult. The elders were all too happy to have the Red Spears move into the garage. Almost looked like they wanted to keep anyone curious about the fight away. That's right. You even told me not to go find out what happened with the fight. You said the Red Spear gangers were moving in, and to leave them alone. Why would you tell me not to look into it? I was only trying to protect you from the Red Spears. They're dangerous, which is why I wanted to deal with them directly. Magpie's gear was missing. Obviously missing. Why wouldn't it tell me that? It would have had to have noticed. Magpie's shop is locked up. Why didn't you want me investigating? Pure supposition. You think it proves something that I didn't notice equipment was missing? Magpie's shop is always a horrible mess. Tang, you did a full inventory of Magpie's matrix service. You assured us everything was running fine, and you'd be able to continue her work. I find it hard to believe you missed something as obvious as missing equipment, especially while searching her stock. That's all I've got. Alright, I think I have some idea what's going on here. And, what do you believe the real story is? Gaichu seems to be telling the truth. Elders, too many facts don't add up. You're obviously hiding something, possibly a great deal, from the rest of the tribe. I'm sorry, but I have to take you into custody until the community can decide the extent and manner of your punishment. Somehow, I doubt that's what's about to happen. Death would seem appropriate to me, especially given that they kept up this charade even to you, one of their most trusted citizens. Don't you dare talk to me like that, you disgusting beast. He begins to raise his weapon. Porter reaches out to stop him. It reluctantly stops. Don't make this any worse than it is. Porter turns to face you. Thank you, Cade. I'll make certain the justice is meted out. You're free to go, and I'll ensure payment is delivered to you. As long as you take Gaichu with you. Can't have him staying here. He'll be coming with me. As you exit the Wampoa into the sweltering night air of the Kowloon streets, Gaichu turns to face you. I confess, I'm unhappy with the decision to allow the Wampoan elders to live. We should have killed them, for no other reason than to maintain our reputation. Oh, he's gonna run on the team! We're gonna have a fucking undead samurai! What the fuck? I mean, I don't know. This is normally what I would say, but I don't know that that is how we do things. That's why I let them live. It's not how we do things. Gaichu bows to you, head held very low. I can accept this. I am unused to working with Shadowrunners, and assumed you would see things as I do. Hopefully, there is much I can learn from you. Shall we leave this place? I am eager to be done with Wampoa Garden. Can we go? Oh no, everyone's gone. That's right. I am surprised that Duncan did not peep up at any point in this to say, what the fuck? Hello? What are you doing? Hi, Dio. Cutie. You gonna go behind the window? Or behind the curtain? I'm surprised to be saying this, but I like this guy. It's a lot. About to leave, yes. The MTR rockets noiselessly toward the Hioi along the edge of the Kowloon Bay. The black water glitters in the night with the light of 1,000 reflected storefronts. Gaichu stares sightlessly out the window, one hand pressed to the glass. The plot by the elders is exposed, and Porter Lamb is in your debt. You have a new ally, and the respect of the Wampoans. Sometimes, everything goes right on a job. Catch yourselves lucky this is one of those times. So I'm guessing we had to put a hat on him or something. Yeah, is he just gonna... Where is he gonna hang out? Like, we're just gonna walk around in Hioi with him? Are there other people on the train? Like, I mean, it's always funny to imagine us getting on the train when there's other people on it because we're loaded, with body armor and assault rifles and shit. But this is even funnier. Ooh. Bunch of karma. Oh, your cromlink chirps. It's kindly Cheng. Yes, ma'am? Come to the Mahjong parlor, my darling. I have something I want to show you. Your crew is already there. What is it? Something I can't show you over the comm. Her voice gets testy. Now hang up and get over here. Okay. Is my crew being over here going to include Gaichu? Or go sleep for 8 hours, Just in case. I'm really worried we're not going to be able to do all these missions, but I really want to, so... As you walk through the Mahjong parlor, you see your crew waiting for you. He is here. Hilarious. Clearly uncomfortably so close to the Triad boss. Then you see why. Conley Cheng's cheeks are flushed and glowing. She's already hit the bottle pretty hard. Oh, she's drunk! Ah, Cade, you're here. Excellent. Yes, Cade. It is good to see you. They both have expressions to say they'd rather be anywhere else. I love that this is... this, I'm assuming, happens after a set number of missions. And so it just happens to be that we get this right after this past mission. But, like... Oh. Let's get to it, shall we? You said you had a lead, Auntie? I did, and I do. I don't know that she said that, but... Conley Cheng takes out her PDA and gently places it on the table in front of her. The wiretap we placed on the police force has borne fruit. Her mouth breaks into a wolfish grin, and her eyes take on a feral gleam. She appears fueled by alcohol and vengeance, a hungry beast on the hunt. My people have delivered a snippet of a recorded video call between the plastic-faced man and Chief Inspector Crate of the Special Duties Unit. Whoa. This should be good. Should we take a seat? Unfortunately, it's only a snippet. There were some technical difficulties with the tap. She glances at Bao, who nods back at her. Oh, it's Strangler Bao. The person responsible has been sacked. Cheng reaches out a lacquered fingernail, hunts for the button she's looking for, and stabs it in victory. There's a loud crackling noise at the beginning of the recording, followed by a squelching squeal that makes Gobbet cover her ears in pain. When the video recording begins, the man's voice sounds far away, as though he's talking through a thick pane of glass. The woman's is louder, closer. Say that again? There's something wrong with this line. Oh, that's the plastic-faced man. That looks more metallic than I was expecting. I was expecting more of the flat plastic color, like matte plastic, I guess. I said my client isn't interested in hearing more excuses, Inspector. That's what I thought you said. I'm not making excuses, mister. I have a department to run. Not for much longer, if those two Westerners aren't found. They're linked to this Raymond Black somehow, and my client wants them out of circulation immediately. The two runners are his accomplices too, the little orc and the dwarf with the cyberdeck. Gobbet looks at Isabel wide-eyed and swallows hard. Isabel winks back reassuringly. I'm aware, Inspector. Thank you. We don't know how much any of them know, and my client is adamant that the risk be mitigated immediately. I've already made this the SDU's highest priority. If Josephine wants more resources on it, I'm going to need allocations from elsewhere in the department. Josephine. That is a problem that can be easily dealt with. My client wants this over. Now. No more excuses, no more fuck-ups, no more cops floating in the river. Conley Cheng smiles at that and pours herself a shot. Tell her we're redoubling our efforts. Very good. Dead or alive, you bring them to me. My client requires my personal verification that the threat has been eliminated. Hang on, this line is getting worse. There's a sharp crackle and the recording ends. Conley Cheng picks up her PDA and puts it away with a smile. She unscrews the cap in her bottle and pours herself a shot with a flourish. That's the guy we saw in the surveillance footage. The one who killed Raymond Black. She leans into the PDA. That plastic face looks a lot cooler close up. I think it's kind of pretty. That video doesn't tell us much. I mean, we already know that there's an APB on us. All we're sure of now is that the man with the plastic face is definitely working for someone else. This Josephine. Is that all we have, Auntie? A first name? It's not just a first name, Gobbet dear. It's the first name. Josephine Sang. She's the one pulling the strings. Kindly downs her shot and slams the glass upside down on her table. The disease-riddled dog fucker. I should have known it was her from the beginning. She drums her fingers on the table in front of her. And she had the nerve to call down the heat on my runners? On Nightjar? Oh, that scabrous fossil is gonna pay. I don't recognize the name. Cheng makes a wet hacking noise at the back of her throat and spits on the floor. She's the CEO of Sang Mechanical Services and a member of the Hong Kong Executive Council. Her face turns into a mask of disgust. Josephine Dog fucking Sang. What is Sang Mechanical Services? Josephine's baby. It was a B-rated corporation before she married into the Sang family, but after she fought for and won the contract to rebuild Kowloon Walled City, their fortunes rose high. They began to rise to power that eventually landed Josephine on the Executive Council. Walled City. The Walled City. Yes, same place Raymond Black hired my runners to take him. I've already connected the dots. I don't know what it means, but it clearly means something. What do you think the connection is between Josephine Sang and this plastic-faced man? I don't know yet, but I will. He called her his client. There may be some sort of lead we can follow. Cheng nods at Wu. Her glance lingers at his biceps a moment before continuing. Right now, all we know is that he is her instrument, the one who killed Raymond Black. Raymond's not dead. Yeah, you may have mentioned that before, Gun Show. She smiles at him reprovingly. Regardless, the plastic-faced man is still our best lead for figuring out what's going on. So what do you know about her? She was Hong Kong Philanthropist of the Year in 2054 and 2055. Children's hospitals, homeless shelters, food distribution centers. Good causes, and the kind that get good PR because people are too lazy and myopic to look for the real people doing the hard work. The face-to-face with the poor work. Don't be so cynical, Isabel. Auntie Cheng smiles at her sweetly. Coming face-to-face with the unsanitized for video poor is distasteful, dear. You know that. Her face gets stony. Beyond being a CEO and a philanthropist, I also know that Josephine Sang is a lying, conniving bitch. Sounds like you two have a history together. Whatever gave you that impression, my sweet? Her wolfish smile returns. Yes, my darling, I don't like Josephine Sang, and I'm going to fuck her up. I'm gonna fuck her up bad. Oh, this should be good. It will be delicious, and I may explain why someday, but not today. She picks up her bottle of swill. Its turpentine fumes drift your way, but when I finally get her, you'll be there, my darling. I'll make it a party. Sure, tell us about the Executive Council. May I, Auntie? Isabel breaks in, giving kindly Chang a chance to calm down a bit. Hong Kong is run by a consortium of powerful corporations called the Board of Governors. We set up the Executive Council, an 8-member committee of exemplary Hong Kong citizens, to represent the people and run the city on their behalf. But, of course, you don't vote for them. That would be too unpredictable. Instead, every 2 years, 2 Executive Council slots come up for election, and the corporations on the Board of Governors put up some possible candidates and vote amongst themselves in a closed-door session. Closed door? I'm shocked. Of course, every single one of those candidates is on some corporate prey roll somehow. Wham, bam, instant government. So what's our next step? There's nothing we can do to touch Josephine Sang, as much as I hate to admit it, but the plastic face man is a different story. He's a third-party operative who's been careless, and he'll live to regret it. Little black eyes turn stony. For a while. If Sang thinks she can take out 2 of my runners and get away with it, I'm gonna have to explain things to her. She pulls out a thin black cigar and runs it beneath her nose. We're going to find the plastic-faced man, and we are going to hurt him. We'll hurt him until we know everything he does, and then we will use that to strike back at Josephine Sang. She lights her cigar and takes a deep, deep pull. You will have your vengeance, and I will have my own satisfaction. She turns away and picks up a bottle. Now get out. I have work to do. Okay, so that did not give us a mission. Okay, that's good. We have more. Oh, we get a level up. Guide you. Claw ability does additional 2 damage and 2 bleeding damage for 2 rounds. Gains a defensive ability. It adds +2 armor and +1 dodge. For how long? Shuriken, a ranged ability. Well, that's probably good. Spit, a ranged ability spitting infected saliva on the target's face. Holy shit. Alright. Oh, I see his, like, 2 class trees are Ghoul and Red Samurai. Wow. Do these guys have... Oh, I guess they are. I didn't realize that they had, like, names. Lethal Force, Crowd Control. Okay. Okay, well... We're not even going to talk to everyone because they'll take forever. I want to kind of go see where... See if we can find where Gaichu is, though. If he's down here somewhere? Oh. I thought this was Ractor's, like, spot where Ractor sleeps. Is he, like... Is Ractor bunking with him? That's a really funny idea. Alright, we will save the game. And quit for the night. We will start next time by talking to everyone, including our new buddy. Well, thanks everyone for joining me tonight for Shadowrun Hong Kong. This game is a lot of fun. I will hope to be back next week. More Hong Kong. Tomorrow I will probably not be here, but hopefully be back Thursday with something. What did we play last Thursday? Oh, I was gone last Thursday. I was busy. What did I do the Thursday before that? I don't remember. We'll figure something out. As well as Friday, because that's also open. But this is the rest of the schedule. The schedule is also below the stream. You can follow for notifications when I go live. You can sub for Movements of My Cats. We had Dio on stream, kind of, tonight. I appreciate everybody who hangs out and chat. It's a lot of fun for me. I hope it is fun for you. And I hope you join me again in the future. Good night.